mean,
All
I'm
right.
surprised you showed up.
Did you switch the mic, Marte?
Yeah, I switched it. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Okay, yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
So what were you saying? You don't know how I'm an IFBB pro? What is all this banter pre-debate? What is all that? Is that even substantial to what we're talking about, Manar?
What? I said I'm Morgan an IFBB pro. That's crazy. Maybe I should get into the sports. What do you think?
I think that you look anorexic right now compared to me. You should eat some pork chops, bro. Put some weight on, bro.
Hey, I'm actually on chicken and rice. I mean, I am actually.
Oh, so you're on the feathery pork. You should try the non-feathered pork. It's pretty good for you, bro.
The feathered pork.
Yeah, try the non-feathery pork, the pink kind. It's pretty good, man. I know you don't partake in that, but it's delicious. Matter of fact, you should have a BLT while we're at it. Good stuff, man.
BLT.
All right, man. You're not hurting my feelings by naming out.
I'm not hurting your feelings by offering you dietary advice because you lack size and you look malnourished on screen.
Bacon is not appealing to me. It's like eating. It's like you're telling me, oh, you can't eat squirrel. Ew, look at you. It's like I don't care. Like you can belittle me.
I'm not belittling you. Offering you advice is not belittling you. I do this often, actually. What's up, Speakeasy? Good to see you again, man. Nothing personal from the last debate we had. I know you were counting other shit.
No, I never take any of that personal.
Although, so if I take swings at you, just don't take it personal. You can take swings at me. So it's we can go back and forth. It's just like, I'm never going to be like, fuck Speakeasy. I hate him and all this other shit. Hey, I can't believe he refuted my argument. What am I going to say? Like some person, it's like, what am I going to say? I can't believe he proved me wrong. Like
Speakeasy, if he's going to apologize, I got to apologize of the last time I seen you then.
Hey, hold on. This is an A&B conversation. Don't try to inbreed your way in. By the way, we're on the topic.
Crazy. I was going crazy. No, that's
no worries. Listen, I know debates get contentious as hell, so I never take any of it personal. But just to make sure you're both good with I know you've done it before here, Marte, but so with the format, the 10-minute opening statement each, followed by a 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal, then an hour of open floor back and forth, 5-minute closing statement, 30-minute Q&A, and then if you guys want, it's optional to stay for the open panel after.
Oh, the open panel is going to be good. It's going to be like the Crusades all over again. Oh, my bad. You're still here, Manar. Anyways, so Speakeasy.
But you're both good with that, right? You're both good with that format, right?
Yeah, I'm here for the roast fest.
By the way,
remember when Vlad put like a forest of spikes?
You're going to overtalk me this whole debate. I predict.
Hold on. You remember when they had a forest of spikes? That's what the open panel is going to be right after this. But anyways, so Speakeasy, I have to have a question. I have to ask you a question. Did you get the video that I sent you? Should be ready for presentation.
Yes, I do see it in the back there. Yeah. So all for your opening, you want
to may Christ have mercy on your soul, Manar, before we even begin.
Man, we'll talk about Christ in a second. Tell me your evidence on his divinity.
So you want to talk about things non-relational to the debate?
No. That's later. The next debate.
Okay, cool.
That'll be the next debate. Yeah, exactly. I like it. Let me make sure I got this in here. Boom.
Matter of fact, Manar, keep that energy about debating the non-prompt that we're doing right now. I like where you're going. Keep that up, bro. Let's do that.
Yeah. Says the guy that strawman the whole debate. I went to your channel. It says incest. What? It's cousin marriage is incest now? Is that what you're arguing?
Yeah, legitimately, yes, it's incest.
All right. Let's not debate it yet. I'm
gonna hold you on that.
Let's wait till we're live. Hold up.
Typical IQ donkey pull cart. I expect.
All right, hold up, boys. I like the energy though. And also right now, what's gonna happen? It'll play my disclaimer, then the intro and music. Then I'll introduce the show. I'll introduce the prompt. I'll introduce you guys. And Manar, since you're on the affirmative, you're gonna go first for opening statements. And then when we get to closings, you'll go first again. So that'll give Marte the last word. So I give one the first word and one the last. All right.
Before we start, though, Manar, I just have one recommendation. I mean this in good spirit. Watch Kingdom of God while eating a BLT. The Crusades were badass and pretty base, by the way. Okay, let's begin.
All right. Yeah. Hold up. All right. I'm going to get this intro rolling. Thank you both for being here and good luck to both of you.
Good luck.
It's going to be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Not for him.
Warning. The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or
Okay, guys, this is going to be a bloodbath. Jesus Christ. Like, already. Hold on real quick. Let me, already, this guy doesn't understand what the prompt is or anything. We got to already hear about this. I don't want to subject you guys to the opening video. That's fine, right? We can skip it, right? So he doesn't even understand the opening prompt. He was talking about we can debate about the divinity of Christ, and I'm like, that's not even what the prompt is. If he keeps this up and wants to talk about everything non-analogous to the prompt, kudos to you, bro. I salute your big L on a silver platter that you're about to hand to me tonight with crispy bacon, beloved BLTs, pork chop. Yeah, Bernard, good luck, bro. As a matter of fact, Chad, if you can, send him the luck that you would have sent me, because I have faith. I don't need luck. Yeah, low IQ, for sure. Donkey pull cart IQ, for sure. All right, let me bring back the other screen real quick, because I don't want to get caught off guard when this guy shows up and starts frigging already, which is what's going to happen anyway. He's going to spurg when I show this opening statement and when I show my video. Oh, you guys are going to love it. Glorious Christianity. Stopping this Muslim BS. All right, let's bring it back up.
I never fold in the war words. I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Whoa. We clash our swords for reasons. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Whoa. We clash our swords for reasons. We clash our swords for reasons. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Whoa. We clash our swords for reasons. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in.
Bro, how long is this intro? I just want to kill this guy already. Why is it taking so long? Oh, this is crazy. It's taking forever, bro. Yeah, I know. A little bit. Demonetized for now, so we'll see.
Welcome, everybody, to Swords of Reason right here on Speakeasy Show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statement, followed by 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. After that, we enter the arena for a full hour of back and forth debate. This is where the arguments can clash, iron can sharpen the iron. And then finally, each side delivers a 5-minute closing statement to lock in their case. When that's done, we move into a 30-minute Q&A. I'll drop a live Q&A in there in the chat for you guys to put your questions in. But keep in mind, Super Chats, PayPals, and Cash Apps, these questions will get priority. So if those fill up the entire 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get answered. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, make sure you send it through Super Chat. And once the formal debate wraps, we open the doors to the Chaos and Chill panel. This is where the community can hop in, challenge debaters, ask follow-ups if the debaters choose to stick around, because that part is optional for them. But this is where everything, usually gets a little wild. Today's debate prompt: cousin marriage should be legal and socially accepted. And today's debaters for the affirmative, making his Swords of Reason debut, but no stranger to the battlefield, a regular in open panel and call-in debates, known for direct political commentary and engaging in the most heated topics in today's discourse. We have Manar Reports. You can find his channel in the description. And for the negative, we have Marte Reyes, a professional bodybuilder known for pop culture commentary, political debates, and openly documenting his walk with God, bringing discipline from the gym to the arena. All right. His YouTube channel is also linked in the description. And with that, we're going to get into the opening statements. Manar, you're going to start off. So whenever you're ready, Manar, I will start the timer up with your voice. And again, thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Speakeasy, for allowing us to be here. Thank you, Marte, for challenging me. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. And actually, let me give you a backup story on the challenge that I was given, because I think this is very important. This actual debate, cousin marriage should be legal and socially accepted, stemmed out, I believe, from Andrew's lover boy method being displayed and deployed on his minions, for say. Andrew Wilson came up and debated Daniel Haqiqa Chu and argued for 3 hours straight how cousin marriage produces indecency or whatever it is when it comes to the IQ, that he depraved to be the moral compass for all of societies to hedge upon, because if you don't have this high IQ, then you're going to be ruled over by higher IQ, blah, blah, blah. Because of that, a bunch of small little, their teeth are coming out, started crawling out of their duggins and started coming out trying to challenge Muslims, thinking they have the ability, though depraved they are, to challenge us upon the morality and legality and the essence socially being accepted of cousin marriage. Are you joking? All the facts are on my side, Martin. Today is your day of humiliation. Get the funeral books, open them up. Where's the casket? I hope you wrote your will, because the music you were playing, we will play that soon, but it will be for your end. Absolutely unbelievable. Cousin marriage should be legal. Well, it is. All 50 states allow cousin marriage. Oh, maybe he's talking specifically about first cousin marriage, because second, third, and fourth, completely legal through every single state in the United States of America with 0 exceptions. Now, first cousin marriage, there are certain exceptions. So is that Marte's argument that first cousin marriage is immoral, illegal, and socially unacceptable? And don't worry, I've got an answer for that as well. But the only way for him to argue illegality, he would have to present that it is the first cousin marriage that is the issue. And he's going to actually fail, because almost half of the states allow first cousin marriage, and the rest make exceptions as long as you follow the genetic processes and the genetic planning and being able to administer a couple of extra testing. They will allow you to go through that marriage nonetheless. So legality, I mean, I'm surprised what he's going to be able to come up with. And by the way, guys, I predict not only is he going to yawn a lot in this debate, he's also going to talk over me a lot, guys. Watch this prediction and watch it fulfill itself to reality, because he really has nothing. Further on, maybe his argument is first cousin marriage. I will allow it, and I will address this in a second. Scientifically, cousin marriage, third and fourth, is almost identical in the risk of sickle cell anemia and all these genetic mutations and diseases that he might be attributing to first cousin marriage. Third and fourth and second, up to second cousin marriage even, almost identical risks as all stranger marriages. So the only scientific problem genetically as well has to come from first cousin marriages, because they produce the highest amounts of risks, besides obviously actual incestuous relationships with mother and daughter and son, which morally, I will present the evidences why those are illegal and why cousin marriage was never legalized. So from those, first cousin marriage is the one that attributes to the highest amount of risk. But according to these studies, and I will present you the names of the actual articles and NIH consanguineous studies, show that as long as you present education to the community and the resources available so they can do parental screening. And what is parental screening and genetic screening? They test their genetics to see if they're actually carrying the diseases, to see if they are actually at a higher risk, if they're going to do a consanguineous marriage. It's extremely easy to work around. You can, even if you're at higher risk, you could still choose to have the baby. You just go through extra procedures and you're kept a closer eye upon. So that's all that is actually necessary. And when you do these screenings and you do these precautions, the risk is almost identical to the rest of the society. So the argument, by the way, from genetic mutation and risk is also going to fail, because you're going to argue that anything that presents itself as a genetic risk should be eliminated. Therefore, women over 40 having children should not have children anymore because it presents a genetic mutation risk at the baby. Women that have already have genetic diseases like Down syndrome, you would argue they should never be ever be able to actually have kids, because almost guaranteed their children are going to have these deformities. What is your argument? If we were to believe the argument of genetic disorders, even though they are mitigated, if we were to believe you and allow you to accept this argument that only the perfect have to be genetically perfect couple have to marry each other and get babies, then this would actually lead to much more moral problems. Finally, guys, biblically, are you kidding me? This guy calls himself a Christian. He calls himself a Christian. He's coming to argue against me about cousin marriage. Are you arguing that all the prophets, and I'm going to name them right now, Jacob, the father of Israel. Oh my God. Jacob, the father of Israel, married Rachel, and he had a second wife, Leah. Both of them are first cousins. He is the father of all of Israel. He's Abraham, his son Isaac. He is the one that got him to marry Rebecca. And Rebecca is Isaac's actual cousin, all attributable to be. She's the granddaughter or something. It's close. So all throughout the Bible, also in the Quran, we have the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, evidence of him marrying his cousin Zainab. To be 100% accurate here, Zainab bint Jahsh, his own cousin, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married her. And also he allowed the marriage of his own daughter to his cousin, Ali bin Abi Talib, one of his first disciples. So showcasing that all the prophets, Quranically, biblically, Abraham, Jacob, the father of the Israels, and the father of basically all the Jews, all of them attributed and did allowed and forced and actually consummated these marriages. Prophet Muhammad himself consummated his cousin's marriage to his daughter. So now I want to hear the arguments. We destroyed the legality because it is already illegal. What is he going to argue? He's going to change the law? It reminds me of the progressives. We argued scientifically, any risks that are attributable to these first cousin marriages, and they're really only attributable to the first cousin marriages, are not only mitigatable with extra screening. Honestly, they're negligent. They're negligent. The regular average, national average in the United States of America is between 2 to 4%. That's the genetic disorders. And the average between first cousin marriages is between 4 to 7%. It's just 2% extra. It's negligent. It's absolute ludicrous to say that this is why we shouldn't have them marry. And then finally, biblically, almost every single prophet, and also according to Leviticus, and I'm going to have to read some Leviticus law right now because this is really nice. Well, I'll read one last thing before I read Leviticus. I'm not going to read Leviticus law, but I will read from the Bible. Look at this. This is Numbers 36, 6-9. This is what the Lord commands for Zelophehad's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within their father's tribal clan. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from one tribe to another. For every Israelite shall keep the tribal inheritance of their ancestors. Every daughter who inherits land in any Israelite tribe must marry someone in her father's tribal clan, so that every Israelite will possess the inheritance of their ancestors. No inheritance may pass from one tribe to another, for each Israelite tribe is to keep the land it inherits. So this actual verse here not only condemns marrying outside of your not only supports and forces you, it condemns you to marry outside of your actual imminent family. And what is it talking about? Your brothers and sisters? No, it's talking about cousins, first, second, third, and so on. And that's my argument here. I'm really interested in Marte's lover boy display, and we'll see, guys. Maybe he gets me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's not going to overtalk me. We'll see today in this debate.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement, Manar. And with that, we are going to hand the mic over to Marte. Whenever, you have a video there ready.
Yeah, but I do want to say something before the video starts. First? You can start the timer right now, Speakeasy.
Okay, so just let me know when you want the video.
I'll let you know when the video is going to present. It's probably going to be in 10 seconds. So you said it condemns us to have relationships outside of family. Yeah, that's actually for my whole argument, actually, too. And then not to mention this, you bring up Leviticus law. There's nothing that's a standard saying that we have to marry within family. Yeah, a tribe can be totally different. That's a whole thing, not analogous to family as well, too. But then when you bring up the percent, it's only 2% more. But then obviously, donkey pull cart, not good at mathematics and multiplication. If you times that by 2, cousins and cousins and cousins, you end up at 32. And next thing you know, you end up at 47. And next thing you know, this multiplies and sickle cell anemia and all this pursues. So anyways, Speakeasy, hit the video. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that the whole debate? Okay, good. All right, so that's pretty freaking amazing. So he's done. It's over. It's over for him. I mean, it's over, baby. That's it. That's the debate, baby. Oh, man, that's my opening statement. I mean, it's a long opening statement, by the way.
Of course, I would expect Donkey Pull Cart IQ to reveal his whole strategy, arguments, and opening statement weeks before a debate happens. Gee, thanks for the free prep packet, bro. You just wanted your whole L on a silver platter. So my opponent tonight is going to use the research of a Mr. Alan H. Biddles tonight. A lot of this research has been cherry-picked and also used from a marginalized source of people. That's it, an extreme minority, and that's where he gets his research from. This guy argues that inbreeding risk, like cousin marriages or inbreeding, are often exaggerated with only a small increase in birth defects, around 2 to 4%. However, evidence shows a significant genetic harm. Here are the key examples in terms. So we have the Habsburg dynasty. Centuries of royal inbreeding led to the Habsburg jaw, which means that there was a severe underbite and facial deformities and health issues. King Charles II of Spain was so disabled he couldn't chew food or produce heirs. All of this ended their bloodline. Next, we have the Amish communities. Due to close group marriages, they have high rates of rare disorders like Ellis Van Cribbold syndrome, which is dwarfism with extra fingers and toes, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, far more than the generalized population. Next, we have recessive diseases in isolated groups. That's where your research comes from Alan H. Biddles. He only gets this from isolated groups. That's where his studies come from, and this is easily debunked because he only cherry picks in places like Pakistan, North Africa, with common cousin or inbreeding marriages. Kids face elevated risk of thalassemia, which is severe anemia, sickle cell disease, deafness, blindness, congenital heart defects, leading to a 3% higher child mortality rate. Next, we have inbreeding depression. Yes, this is the thing. Overall inbreeding boosts harmful recessive genes, causing reduced fertility, weaker immune systems, and more birth defects, as seen in animal studies and human data from inbred populations as well. These real-world cases highlight why inbreeding is risky, even if every case isn't disastrous. Islam is stupid.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Sounds like Minar's chomping at the bit. Okay, Speakeasy, you can close this out so I can begin my opening statement. So, and I'll begin my opening statement. Maybe you might want to put him on mute for this one. While first cousin marriage is legal in about 18 to 19 U.S. states and restricted or banned in the rest, social acceptance would be harmful due to proven genetic risk, public health costs, and societal consequences. Genetic health risk include children of first cousins face roughly double the risk of birth defects and autosomal recessive disorders compared to unrelated parents. So the 3% that Minar states actually goes up to 4%, 4 to 6% risk. It actually doubles. And I repeat, it doubles when you have more family members. And guess what? When you add multipliers onto this, it actually triples. And guess what? You can go down the line. I know you may not be good at math, but multiplication, very hard for you, bro. So studies like the Bradford, UK, which I can also bring up too with multiple reviews, includes higher rates of congenital anomalies like birth defects and rare genetic conditions, often leading to lifelong health issues. And here's the thing, though. You talk about legalities all the time, but you have to commercialize this. Picture this. A dating app that's commercialized for people. We're producing a society of inbred people in the dating market. Do you want to go ahead and screw somebody that could be in the movie Wrong Turn or somebody from The Hills Have Eyes on a dating app? And I'm not even talking about people with flippers or anything like that. We're talking about elevated genetic risk being introduced to your family. As a society, how do you even commercialize this? Hey, we have an inbred dating app full of people who are from inbred families, from Hills Have Eyes and all that stuff. We don't want that. So normalize this would encourage isolated multi-generation inbreeding in subgroups. So when he says, I want to close your family together and it prevents closer knit ties, yes, a little bit too close. So if we're thinking about this, The Hills Have Eyes, inbred mutants preying on outsiders, or Wrong Turn, cannibalistic hillbillies from the isolation and close breeding kin. While exaggerated, these depict real dangers, marginalized groups, or they're going to be compounded with defects, reducing social integration. While he can say the first few offsets of inbreeding are going to be at 2 to 3%. But guess what? This gets compounded, which is even worse. In conclusion, it's pretty bad. Queen Victoria, Charles Darwin, and Albert Einstein have something in common. They all married the first cousins. You think Darwin, of all people, would have known better after marrying a first cousin? And to me, this is bad. With bad genes leads to deadly genetic mutations. Right. So here's the thing, though. So grandparents, genetically speaking, means they share 0.2% of their DNA. Not much when you compare it to the third, second, especially first cousins. And the more DNA you share, the greater chance your offspring will have genetic diseases like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia. But here's the thing, though, Minar. You don't have to be sick in order to give your child a genetic disease. Take cystic fibrosis. It's caused by a defect in the CFTR gene. But you need 2 copies of the the defective gene to actually get the disease. So if you only have 1 defective copy, Minar, you're unaffected. Instead, you are what's called a carrier. Now, if one carrier with a non-carrier, there's no risk of the kids getting sick. But when both parents carry a defective copy of CFTR, then the kids have a 25% chance of inheriting 2 copies of the gene now. You're actually increasing danger. See how dangerous this is? Marrying your first cousin, you might as well bang your sister. How close are we going to get to this? To me, that doesn't really make any sense either. So if you think about this, we have to do math now, Minar. I know, very hard for donkey pull cart IQ here, but calculate the chances that 2 first cousins both carry the same copy of the same genetic disease since they both share sets of grandparents. We'll start there now because it becomes a game of what ifs. What if both parents are carriers versus just one? If one of their children is a carrier versus not at all, what if those children marry other carriers or not? It can get very complicated very quickly, but scientists have crunched the numbers, and it turns out the risk that cousins who have a kid who inherits a genetic disease is 4 to 7% more likely than average for the general population. So it's 3 to 4%. No big deal, right? Here's the catch, though, because that's what he's going to say. So when he brings up Biddle's study, by the way, my opponent held a stream beforehand, And this stream was detailing all of his arguments weeks before this debate and showed Biddles in his flawed research, which shows cherry-picked results from marginalized groups and doesn't show an overwhelming populace or a consensus of examples that go with what his narrative is. And actually, not to mention this, imagine a fighter, and I'm going to fight Minar in a ring, and that's going to happen. And Minar says, come out to my arena and check out my fight moves before this debate happens. Literally, that's what he did in this debate. Showed his whole hand and whole ass before starting this debate. No homo, by the way. So there are thousands that could be hiding in your family tree. Plus, your kids also marry their first cousins, and their kids marry their first cousins. It's a recipe for disaster because instead of introducing new potentiating recessive genes, which is really bad, you're recycling old and possibly dangerous ones. Take Emperor Ferdinand, the first of Austria. His parents were first cousins twice over, and then he was born not especially healthy. So far as marrying your cousin's concerned, you shouldn't make it a family tradition because it's inherently bad. Not only this, but we're compounding interest of bad genetic diseases when this happens. Sure, Minar, you can make an argument for why you should bang your sister, which is typically what you're doing right now. You might as well just skip a generation and say, I'm banging my uncle's daughter. But that's the thing, though. You're compounding the interest, and it makes it even worse. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to say 2% isn't that bad, but then it's 4, then it's 16. How close do you want to go? Banging your sister? I can see my time.
Thank you for that opening statement, Marte. With that, we are going to get into the 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttals. So this is where each debater will have 5 minutes uninterrupted to respond to anything they've heard in the openings or maybe something they wanted to say in their opening. So with that, Minar, whenever you are ready for your uninterrupted rebuttal, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, guys, I was a little bit shocked. I started laughing. I've never in my life debated somebody so bad at debates. He has to make a video to debate me. I just think it actually says a lot about me that my opponent is scared to actually come forwards and argue. He has to make a video about the facts 4 or 5 weeks before the debate. I think that's hilarious. And it also agrees with this idea that people are obsessed with me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm in people's heads. Anyways, so here's my opponent's argument, guys. I mean, does anybody know if my opponent is Christian, Jewish? Does anybody know what the religion of my opponent is? Is he an atheist? Does anybody know? Why is he arguing out of scientific consensus? Why is he making all his argument based on statistics and studies? I thought my opponent is a religious warrior. He came forward before the debate. I mean, we were all there. We were all excited to see him, with not only for the flag, we were also there for nice curly hair. He said this is going to be like the Crusades. He said hey, this is Christianity versus Islam, the degenerate. Yeah, remember the degenerate religion. So I thought you were going to come with biblical arguments, not a singular Christian-based appeal, not a singular biblical argument. Does this guy think he's Andrew Wilson? I don't know. Somebody remind me. What is this? He's going to argue from the societal accepted high IQ and low IQ. And that's literally what he did. And I cannot believe it. That's why my second prediction is going to work. He's going to overtalk me for the rest of the debate. His only argument is that there are genetic deficiencies associated and there are risks because one of the parents could carry the gene that crossovers this disease, the sickle cell anemia, and usually because first cousins, they're close to each other's in the DNA. So whenever one of the parents is holding that, it's almost guaranteed it will be a risk at the baby. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Where's the Christian argument? Where is the biblical argument from Leviticus? Let's go read Leviticus. How Leviticus outlines an incestuous law and who you're allowed to marry and who you're not allowed to marry. And why does it never mention the cousin? It mentions your aunt, but it never mentions the cousin. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your father or your mother. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your father's wife, for it is your father's nakedness. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere. Leviticus 10, you are not to uncover the nakedness of your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, for theirs is your own nakedness. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your daughter, of your father's wife, of the daughter of your father's wife conceived by your father, since she is your sister. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your father's sister, for she is your father's direct relative. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's direct relative. You are not to uncover the nakedness of your father's brother by approaching his wife. So you're not allowed your dad's, your uncle's wife, you're not allowed. But somehow all of this doesn't ever mention cousin. And that's how you make a Christian biblical appeal. I just made a Christian biblical appeal, appealing to how Christian laws and ethics allows cousin marriage, because it also omits it from these laws of Leviticus, which are extremely clear. And it continues. I'm going to stop here because it's redundant. It just continues. And it names out exactly who you're not allowed, but it never mentions your uncle's daughter or your aunt's son. Why? Because those are actually allowed and attributed to all the prophets of the Bible, Islam, and their relatives. That's how all of humanity has been together. So his only argument is a genetic mutation argument. It's an appeal to modernity. It's an appeal to scientific statistic arguments. These are brand new arguments that just came up 20 years ago. That's all he has. If he looks back into the Christian Bible, he would be ridiculing his own prophets. According to his arguments, Isaac was actually immoral. According to his argument, the prophets were guaranteeing the destruction of the human race. That's according to his argument. The biblical prophets are disagreeing with the commandments of God of keeping us healthy and well and representing to us the best of the religion. And they were just displaying, I guess, incestuous, disgusting acts, according to Marte, if we were to believe him. Thank you so much. What a failed argument, genetic argument.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. And with that, we're going to hand the mic over to Marte for your uninterrupted 5-minute rebuttal. So whenever you're ready, Marte, I will start the timer, up with your voice.
Yeah, so my opponent here, my detractor, actually doesn't make an argument for anything that I've ever said. He's actually making side tangent arguments for things actually talking about scripture, and actually he debunks his own claim and his own statement by saying that the Bible omits all this information. That means that there's allowance somehow because it omits this. To me, that doesn't make any sense, because the Bible doesn't state anything like you shouldn't rob your own wife and beat her while you're robbing her. But does that mean allowance? No, it doesn't, which is a stupid argument, actually. That's literally what the guy said. And then not to mention that he's telling me, he's not making a religious argument. Well, your argument, your worldview is so fucking stupid and dumb that all I have to do is just come at it with just research, data, and statistics and reality, because you don't live in this. So, by the way, I also made more than one argument, not just the science and data and everything else. I talked about social acceptance. Remember, there's a prompt here, social accepted, not just legality. Not only this, but my opponent didn't even make an argument for anything I said. And he didn't even make an argument, period. All he talked about was just feels in his whole response. That's all I heard. So let me go ahead and help you out here, because you apparently did make an argument towards anything I said. So when I talked about everything in my opening statement, I talked about the compounding interest. Not once have you addressed this. Not once did you address the social acceptance and the appeal of this, of us creating inbred people on the dating market that other people probably don't want to date. Recessive genes being eliminated. You never addressed that. So you talked about everything but what I actually brought to the table, which is crazy. But then you're telling me that I had a failed argument when not bringing any argument to the table. You know what? I expected this, so I'm unbothered by that. That's why whenever he makes assertions saying I'm going to talk over him and all this, he talks like he's clairvoyant when really Muhammad's not even a prophet. Let's just get that straight. The guy was a rapist of a minor. Let's get that straight too, because his penis must have been a micro peen with a battery-sized shell, because that's all could probably fit in Aisha. Otherwise, he's causing damage. I can go down this long train of arguments, but you see what I did? I just pulled a Manar, said everything but what the prompt was about. But I'm not going to do that. Oh shit, I did that already. Slip of the wrist. But back to this argument. He hasn't reconciled any of the points that I brought up. Not once do I have to bring up a religious argument about scripture says this, scripture doesn't say this. The most he can do is like, it's not even mentioned in scripture. That's all you got, bro. Meanwhile, you can't reconcile the multiplier argument. You can't reconcile the social acceptance. Try to get people to buy on recessive genes. Try to sell that even at 2%, 3%, and then do a multiplier because you're keeping it in the family. To me, all of this is debunked. And the guy that you're getting your research from, Alan H. Biddles, all of his shit's debunked. I literally looked through all this, and when you say that, oh, I'm so bad at argumentation that I did research before the debate. Literally, folks, this what this guy said. He's so bad at argument that he did research on him before the debate. That's really what this guy is saying. Donkey pull cart IQ in 4K on Speakeasy's glorious channel, by the way. So I have yet to hear an argument from my opponent other than feels before reals, because that's all he's gotten. Can you actually contend with something I actually said? Because you haven't the first time. I'm giving you a second chance to go ahead and reconcile some of these points, which you haven't done. All you're saying is trying to be a bad salesman and saying it's only 3% damage, which leads to 8% damage.
Yeah, that's my whole argument.
Damage. Hold on. My time, Manar. You just said that I would overtalk you, but guess what's happening? He just contradicted himself, which may be happening in the debate. See how I don't have to be clairvoyant? I actually said that versus his assumptions of what he's going to do. Say I'm talking over him while he did that to me. So I'll call shit out in real time because I think I'm that good so far. I'm not the best debater in the world. You conflated me with Andrew Wilson and all these other people. No, that guy's like Michael Jordan. How dare you compare me with Michael Jordan? I'm like Rodman in this bitch. I'll fucking elbow you in the face verbally, and then we can talk about your whole argument that's going to get bodied in this debate and your whole worldview and your ideology. It doesn't make sense. All those people just want to bang cousins and everything else. It's been proven that the IQ score goes down in these countries. They don't have any producing society that's going to produce aerospace engineering or anything else like that. You guys had like one rocket that got through. All of this is just due to a genetic base of like, you don't have any new genes coming in to clean out these recessive genes. That's the problem you have. So guess what happens to knowledge when you start having a closed group of genetic issues? Nothing new gets in. Nothing new gets refreshed. Well, guess what happens? Your trash bin gets full and you don't dump the garbage. Guess what your religion is? Right. Waste management. Anyways, let's continue. I can see my time.
Wow. All right. Thank you for that rebuttal, Marte. Great rebuttals from both sides. Before we move into the open hour of back and forth, let me talk to the audience real quick. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to tonight's debaters. Their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reason, politics, culture, religion, ethics, internet topics, anything where reasoning and passion can collide. So if you're enjoying this format, make sure you're locked in because we have a lot more coming. Also, a reminder for the live chat. After the closing statements, we'll be doing a 30-minute Q&A. So the Q&A form there is like the live chat is in there. But Super Chats, PayPals, Cash Apps, these will get priority. And if those fill up the whole 30 minutes, we may not get to the ones in the Q&A. So if there's something you really want answered, send it through one of the priority options. And finally, thank you to both the debaters for being here tonight and bringing your perspectives to the arena. Whenever one of you is ready to start the open floor exchange, just jump in and I'll start the timer up with your voice.
I have a question, Menard. Can you answer a question directly and not dance around it this time, please?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just asking for good faith. I'm not going to overtalk you like you said I was going to do and all this other shit. So in a world where Muhammad didn't marry his cousin or family, because we all know that's what happened, or even bang a minor as a rapist, would you promote Islam? Would Islam promote incest as a norm if it never happened?
Would I promote Islam if
No. Let me reword that.
Prophet?
Sorry about that. I fumbled a little bit, right? My only L I'm probably going to take in this debate. So in a world where Muhammad didn't marry his cousin or family, would Islam promote incest as a norm still?
Yes, because there's nothing immoral about marrying your cousin.
So even in a world where Muhammad never married his cousins, you guys would still promote incest?
Yes, because we would follow the teachings of Abraham. We would follow the teachings of the prophets before. and their teachings advocated for and we see them marrying their cousins. We see Isaac marrying his cousin, and we see Prophet Abraham commiserating the marriage of his own child with his cousin. And therefore, I believe there's nothing immoral in the tradition. And this is a tradition of the Arabs, and yeah, this is a tradition all of humanity. I really want to know one question. Your whole argument is sufficed about the genetical reproduction risks. That's all your argument is, right? Am I wrong?
No,
because
no, my
yeah,
argument
yeah.
is
Let me finish. Why? Let me explain why. Because the interest argument is based on that genetical risk, right? Because you're saying
interest,
because of that risk, it will increase. The risk will increase every child.
Yes.
So that's a genetical mutation based on reproduction.
Yep.
And then all the other arguments about the genetic mutations and the sickle cell and the diseases that could, besides the social appeal, all your other arguments have to and are linked to that area. They're not linked to anything else.
No, they can branch out, but you're making an absolute claim. So how do you? So okay, let's reconcile this.
Your arguments are generic reproductions are risky before these first cousins. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So if you want me to answer your question, I'll answer your question real quick. So if you have two bad copies, how do you weed out recessive genes?
Yeah, but you're assuming both.
Can you answer a question though, real quick?
Bad.
Can you? How do you weed out recessive genes from a lineage? How do you do that?
How do you weed out recessive genes?
Recessive bad genes from a lineage. How do you do that?
I don't know. You try to breed it out. You don't breed into it.
Right. Like that means moving away from incest, right?
So how is cousin marriage incest again?
Sorry. Wait, hold on. How do you, no, let's reconcile with what you just said. You said you try to breed this out. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
If you are saying you want to get rid of a certain trait, some blue eyes, or you want brown eyes.
I didn't say, I said a defect, a recessive gene, like something that's a defect. How do you weed this out of your gene pool?
Can you give me an example? Like you have a tail, you have a small bone in the back of your...
Let's say that my family is starting to grow flippers, right? But how do I weed that out of my family?
I mean, you genetically screen your next partners and see the risks they would have associated with the reproduction of their offspring with you.
Let's say we don't have genetic screening. How would we do this in a more obvious way to do this that's historically accurate? Because not everybody has access to expensive screening sometimes or any of this stuff. Because that goes with my social acceptance argument. Like I'm going to go to CVS and I'm going to go to get a test, but they're telling me I need health insurance. A lot of Americans can't afford any of this stuff. They can't afford these premiums. A lot of people don't have jobs, the economy and all this other stuff. We hear excuses, especially liberals. Besides modernity or medical risk or anything like that, like as far as testing, how do you weed this out of your family?
You can... I mean, you'd have to... I mean, there's really no way. I mean, if it's inside of you, you need
There's no way. There's no way to weed this out of your gene pool.
There's really no real way. I mean, if you find some woman and you find out that there's a risk for your offspring's doubled with that woman, for example, it's still your choice to have kids with her. And there's still a possibility that the kids are going to be completely normal.
Manar,
all it's saying is that the risk is increased. It's not saying that there's a guarantee.
Manar, let me go ahead and dumb this down a little bit, make it more simple. How would you obviously know that the risks are going to be double? Would you, like, let's say if I went ahead, a person banged his sister, do you think that the risks are going to be increased or decreased from sleeping with just a sister?
Can I ask you a question? Is that scientifically proven or is that biblical? What's your argument? Where's your argument stemming from? Is it from... Yeah, but I want to know, is it stemming from Christian ethics or is this a modern appeal? It
doesn't matter. Answer the question.
No, I want to know where are you ethically binding that?
Ethics are out of the picture. Just want to know scientifically. Okay, yeah, I'm back.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Well,
Well, I need to know where are you grounding your ethics from? Is this an appeal to modern statistics and science, or is this an appeal to Christian law? Because according to Christian law, there is nothing stopping you from marrying your cousin.
So, Minar, can you still man what I just asked you?
I don't know, because you keep asking. You're trying to argue out of a modern modernity risk factor based on these new testing and diagnoses.
The question again, so you can understand it, because apparently you don't understand what I just asked you.
I mean, that's fine. All I asked was, what is your grounding of that question ethically? Are you grounding it in modern ethics, or are you grounding it in Christian ethics? Because it will change my answer. Can you answer me?
I'm not using Christian ethics or anything else. I just want a straight up answer with just let's say that nothing else exists.
So what if you're arguing against Christian ethics? Have you ever thought about you arguing against Christian ethics?
No, but that's not my argument, Minar. I'll ask you the question again, because God, I gotta hold hands during this whole thing.
I just want to know, would you be embarrassed if you're arguing against Christian ethics? Would you?
So,
because you're making a moral appeal.
Minar, remember when I asked you if you can answer questions instead of
but this is an open dialogue according to speaking.
Yeah,
it's not
just
you.
If I can bridge the gap here, I think what Minar is just asking a clarifying question so he can answer your question. So if you just ask your question again, and then
no Christian ethics, nothing. It's not.
No Christian ethics at all. This is all an appeal to modernity. Come at me. Come at me with your statistics now. Come at me with your statistics. Come on.
Okay, great. This isn't statistics or anything like that. I'm just asking a simple question because you're dancing around this.
What else are you appealing to when you say you're appealing to modernity?
I'm not appealing to anything else, but just this direct question that I just need a direct answer from. So in everyday life, like, medical cost prescriptions are high, everything like that. I'm just speaking for the average layman out there. I'm not making an argument to like biblical ethics or anything like that. I'm just asking a simplified question. In order to weed this out of my family, what would I do? Like, there's a bad gene. We have flippers because we're all inbreeding. What would I need to do to weed this bad gene out?
How? If I answer you, how does that prove that it should be illegal to marry your cousin?
I didn't say it should be illegal.
For example, let me give you an example. Hey, wake up, everybody! Wake up, in the viewers! Hey. So let's say I want to breed out being short. Let's say I want to breed out being short. Okay. Let's say I want to breed out. Let's say I want to breed out. If I was to agree with you, that means marrying short people is immoral and should be illegal. Like, that's.
I never said immoral or illegal. Never said that.
But you're saying if there's a trait that is undesirable and you want to get rid of it, you just marry tall. That's not guaranteed. You still have short kids.
Never said undesirable. Never. Said.
What are you saying then? You said that a trait you don't want anymore.
No, I'm going to ask you this one. Undesirable trait. What I just asked you. What did I say? What was my question? Because you're not listening either. Do you remember what I actually said?
All right, man. You were asking me, how can I get rid of a trait inside my family?
No, I didn't say a trait.
A certain characteristic.
I said a defect. I primarily indicated a defect. How do I get rid of it? Flippers are a defect. That's not just a trait that nobody wants. It is a defective measure. Like let's say if I have stubby arms like this, how do I weed this out of my family?
It's the same thing. That's the same thing I'm arguing. And I'm saying that if we were to agree with you, then we would have to make every genetic risk marriage that has a risk of genetic reproduction being an ailment at any point. We would have to make that illegal if we were to agree with you, because you're saying that because the risk exists. No, what you're saying is because the risk exists with marrying and you have that trait, that defect, that means how do you breed it out? You stop marrying, right? That's what you're saying.
No, I didn't.
What else are you saying?
I didn't make an absolute claim. Never did.
What else are you saying then? What else is the solution? You tell me.
I'm asking you. You want me to give you hand you the answers all night?
I have no solution. What is your solution? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you what my solution is for this.
Stop reading.
This is like solutions for dummies of Islam. So anyways, back to this. So this is how you breed it out of your family. If you have a defect, You go outside of your family to people who don't have recessive genes or anybody outside of this. How we've known this throughout civilization and how we know this, and I'm not talking about height. What you're talking about is just generic, superficial preferences. If you have like I would say like a stub that grows in your family, you can't hunt. You didn't survive a harsh winter. You didn't survive the season where you're supposed to forage and do everything because you only have one arm. Your village got massacred because if you have a defect, guess what? Your survivability goes down. So here's the thing, though. In order to weed this out of your genetic population, you have to imbue new genes, new fresh genes into the gene pool to weed out the bad genes. And how do we do that? Not banging your cousins, sisters, brothers, or anything like that.
Can I make an argument? Can I make an argument? What if you stop doing that and you still have these genes? Now you're going to keep trying to breed these genes out? Because what you're saying is mitigating some of the risk, but it's not eliminating it.
Yeah, you're not going to eliminate all of it, but guess what you're going to do? You're gonna mitigate most. You're going to mitigate.
Yeah, but most. I'll tell you how you really ban it. You want to really get rid of it. You kill that gene. You kill that human structure completely. How about that?
Oh, so you guys
should we do that? Should we do that?
You guys just want to have a G side over a whole population?
No. I'm asking you. Is that a good thing? Should we do that? Because there is a risk associated with these people. I mean, inbreeding. You know.
So here's the thing, though. We're not going to delete a whole population because of this. I presented a solution that mitigates.
Can I ask you why? Can I ask you why? If your whole argument is that this will lead to interest and this interest will destroy the human world, why is it not a good thing and a moral thing as an appeal to modernity? Appeal with the statistics. Why is it actually a bad thing to just end all these Down syndrome marriages, these old women marriages, any marriage that is associated with any risk? Why is it not actually why is it immoral to just end them? There's an associated risk attached with all of them.
I never made a morality argument, but I will say culturally, because I'm going to go back to the prompt that says socially and legally accepted. To me, I'm just going to appeal to the prompt. How about that? I'll appeal to the social paradigm, and then I'll appeal to the legal paradigm as well, too. Socially, if you create incestuous people out here, meaning inbred people, you now have a dating market of people who now have recessive genes. Do you think socially we want to be banging people who are inbred? Sounds appealing, right? How appealing does that sound? Because socially, they have to accept this and normalize this. How do you sell that, bro?
So, are you saying it's immoral to marry a woman with a lump?
No,
I'm not understanding. What's your argument? What is your argument?
I just asked you a question. This is going over your head. This is crazy.
Okay. I'm asking you again. Because you refuse to.
My argument is that socially, nobody.
If I marry a lump, if I force the gene to come into my family, if I marry into a lump, is that immoral?
No, I'm not making a moral argument. The prompt doesn't even have any.
Is that illegal?
Morals.
Is that illegal?
Morals.
Should that be illegal? Should that be illegal that I marry a girl with Down syndrome and introduce this to my family and lineage?
Well, in order to get to the legality, you have to have social acceptance. Your
whole argument hinges upon the destruction and the risks associated with the genetical reproductions.
No, elimination of defects. That's what my argument is. But also, let me talk real quick. Don't overtalk me, please, because I'm not doing that to you. So in order to get to legalities, you have to go through social paradigms. In order to do this, things have to be put through legislation. Things have to be voted in. And guess what that does? Through social acceptance, people actually have to buy what this politician's saying. If we're going to legalize that, it has to be popular. It has to be hot.
I'm not arguing in general. I'm saying you right now, if you were to be able to switch laws, do you believe that it should be illegal according to your own argument because it will introduce more
be illegal because socially
it would be illegal for me to introduce this lump into my family.
So can you at least at least deal with the presentation that I gave you right now? In order for things to become legal, they have to be socially accepted by somebody, by a majority. It has to be voted in. Somebody has to pass this through legislation or something. This legality.
According to you, the whole argument is failed because right now I can marry into and introduce to my lineage these traits.
10 seconds real quick. I promise you I'll let you talk. So in order for this to pass through legality, somebody has to have people, the populace, buy onto this for everybody to say, I now accept this law. Otherwise, you have a rebellion. How do you sell this to people as a product? How do you market
you say this is according to your Christian ethics? Hey, listen to me. Hello. Listen to me. Your whole argument hinges upon the socioeconomical destruction of the human species because of the inbreeding. That's your argument. The genetical disorders associated with this inbreeding are high with incestuous relationship, which is why you want to attack the incestuous relationships. That's what your whole argument is.
No.
And you're arguing cousin is incestuous.
Look, get the wax out of your ears, you fucking idiot. What I said was, I'm talking about social acceptance.
I'm trying to steel man your argument.
Right? They have to buy onto this product. They have to buy onto this product because anything you sell to legislation to pass through law is now.
Why are you arguing from that? Why are you arguing from that? I want. It's already legal to marry your cousin. You don't have to. You're arguing against. You have to be the one to provide that authority to the need to change this law.
I'm arguing against legality through social acceptance. Yeah, that's the argument I'm making. Can you at least deal with that?
Well, Christians are going to disagree with you. They're going to say, well, no, you're telling us now all our prophets, biblical prophets, and all of Leviticus law, we're going to not associate now with, and we're just going to decline this because our laws and legalities change. That's all Christians would disagree with.
Manar, so you keep wanting to go back to religion. Let's go there since you want to take it there. Where in Leviticus does it say we have a mandate to sleep with cousins and have incest?
There's no mandate. It's not even the same.
Why bring it up?
Well, Islam doesn't have a mandate either, though. Where in Islam is there a mandate to sleep with your cousin?
How is that analogous to what we're talking about? If you're going to bring,
why are you strawmanning the argument? The argument is not that there's a mandate. The argument is it moral? Is it moral? Yeah, but you strawman. That's not my argument. My argument is it moral to marry your cousin? And Islam and Christianity allows it. Yes.
No, you literally just said that while saying it's not your argument. You brought that up. How are you going to bring up Leviticus?
Because you straw man. You're not.
Isn't my argument? Then when I ask you a question, you say it's a straw man when it's literally what you just brought up.
No. You straw man the debate, the actual question.
Tell me how I straw man exactly. Tell me, Manar. Tell me how I straw man it. What was the straw man? Can you tell me? These crickets are awfully loud in here. Tell me what the straw man was. Are you pulling the cart yet? It's not the donkey. It's you. You
said, where in Leviticus do we have a mandate to sleep with our cousins? I said that's a straw man. We're not mandating the sleeping of your cousin.
Do you know
we're saying it's moral.
Do you know what a straw man is?
We're saying it's moral. Yeah, because you straw man. You're saying that I'm saying that Islam mandates having marrying your cousin. That's not true.
Hold on, Manar.
That's not in Islam or Christianity. That's a straw man.
You know what?
Am I arguing to mandate cousin marriage? I'm just saying it's moral.
Manar, do you know what? Can you tell me what a straw man is?
A straw man is misrepresenting my decision, my position. My position is it's moral. You're saying it's mandated.
So is it misrepresenting your position when you brought up Leviticus and you said it omits it? All this is omitted in Leviticus. That's literally what you
in Leviticus. In Leviticus, it sits there and names 18 to 29 verses.
How is that a straw man?
Okay, let me finish. I'm answering you. Am I allowed to finish? In Leviticus, it brings up to 29 verses, all of them stating the different representations of incestuous families. Talks about the aunt, the brother of the father, the brother of the father's wife, the aunt's husband, the son-in-law of the daughter. It sits there naming, and it never once says the aunt's daughter or the aunt's son or the cousin's or the uncle's daughter, which is by omission allowing you and making it moral. Because basically, we could assume, because let me finish. According to Leviticus, 5 more seconds. According to Leviticus, because it was so clear and detailed, whatever is not outlined there is not forbidden. It's allowed. And cousin marriage was not outlined in Leviticus, that verse I was reading.
Does omission mean allowance?
But if you're making a verse, yes. If you're making a verse that's depicting the incestuous. Yes, let me make the argument.
Wait, hold on. No, you made a claim.
Let me make the argument.
You made a claim. No. Let me deal with your claim. No, we're not gonna fucking do this here because you're my fucking debate panel right now too.
Well, I'm saying yes because.
No. Let's stop.
I'm not allowed to say because.
You made a claim. Let's deal with the claim right now.
I'm answering your question. Let me explain.
No, I'm calling you on your bullshit right now on this panel.
Yes, because the verse was claiming what is a forbidden relationship, and it has to describe that as a forbidden relationship. If it doesn't describe cousin marriage at all in the whole Bible, then how can I? By omission, it's saying that it's actually not forbidden.
So audience, I want you to listen because I know you guys are going to do this poll. This guy literally said right in front of you that omission means allowance. He literally said
when the verse is about what relations to forbid and the omission is in that couple, then you can assume that omission means that they're not forbidden.
So you're making an assumption. You said you can assume. Did I hear that right?
Of course. If it's not Leviticus law, why would I say it's forbidden?
Making assumptions.
You want me to forbid? You want me to forbid what's not in the Bible? You want me to forbid what's not in the Bible? You want me to forbid commandments that are not inside the Bible? You want me to just create new commandments?
That anything that's omitted is called allowance. So if I never tell my wife,
you see how he's strawman me again? That's crazy.
No, this is literally what you just said, and I'm going to give you a hypothetical. If I tell my future wife not to bang my best friend, like let's say I never tell her this. I never tell you can't bang my best friend, but she does this anyways. And she says, well, you never told me I couldn't. And she does do that. Is that allowance?
No, but if you argue that the Bible is a prescription, if you argue that the Bible is a social prescription for all of the world, and then you omit to put in the Bible, it's forbidden to be with your cousin, and then all of the prophets have depicted that tradition has been there, then I cannot say
pre-Mosaic law
because it's not here. It's still forbidden.
That was pre-Mosaic law. So anyways, if my wife bangs my best friend, but I never tell her you can't do that, that means she can do that. That's literally what you just said.
Keep strawmanning me. No, that's fine.
That's what you said. You said if the Bible doesn't say that it's permitted, it's permitted.
It's not in the case of a relationship. It's in the case of a prescription, biblical scriptural prescription. If you're going to argue your scriptural prescription, then I'm going to read your scriptures and I'm going to see what the prescription is. If it's not there, I'm not going to assume it and force it on the discussion. Well, I don't know.
Hold on.
I just tell me why are you bringing it?
Another contradiction.
Is it in the Bible anywhere? Why are you bringing it up?
I just caught you in another contradiction. You said yes, you can assume that this means that you can go ahead and permit this to happen, and then you literally just told me right now I'm not going to assume that it says allowance. You just contradicted yourself a second time. I caught you in 4K real time. That's crazy. Let's get back to the prompt, mind you, because you're doing bad on this. So, mind you, can you deal with the social paradigm of people but dying into taking this recessive gene on the dating market? Do you think the public is going to say this is cool? Do you think they're going to accept this?
Who? Do I think the public are going to disagree with Christian ethics?
No,
is that what you're asking me?
Let's throw ethics out of this. I'm talking about just because we have atheists in society, Muslims, Jewish people, everybody else like this, just for the whole monopoly. Do you think societally we should have a dating app saying, hey, inbreeding plus, buy in on this, but only if you're in the family tree? Do you think that's going to make a hit?
I don't think anyone cares about these genetical mutations that you keep prescribing. If I marry a Mexican, it's like saying, like my mom who's crazy that I married a Mexican, that she's worried that my children are going to be a little bit too dark. Like, who cares? Is that a reason for me to not marry? I mean, maybe.
Well, nobody's talking about.
But that's not immoral. It's not illegal.
You're talking about culture. That's different. If I marry Hispanic culture, that's different from having genetic defects like.
It's the same argument. It's the same argument. This idea that I'm not.
Manar, you're saying that culture is the same thing as a birth defect?
Yeah, to her, the risk of having this certain defect. Yeah, to her, it's a defect to have this color or to have this character or to have these eyebrows or this type of hair. To her, it's a defect. Yeah.
So you think a culture is a defect?
Have you seen an Arab, a black Syrian? Have you ever seen a black Syrian? Let me ask you that.
What if I did?
Have you ever seen a black Syrian? I'm asking. Have you ever seen a black Syrian?
I may have. I don't know. I can't tell you.
So maybe to her it's a defect when somebody's a little bit like too, you know what I mean? And they're supposed to be Syrian. See what I mean?
Yeah, that would either be racist or something else. That's different. That falls underneath a different paradigm.
She could argue the genetic mutation is risky to her. She could argue this.
Hold on. Is a culture a genetic defect?
Traits she doesn't want.
Can a culture be a genetic defect?
Anything can be a genetic defect. Literally, it's in the definition. It's genetic, which is attributable to the genomes of the humanoid. And it's a defect. That means there's some mutation in the actual genome. Anything can be. The color of the skin is a mutation. The color of the eyes, the shape of the eyebrows.
Can culture and a genetic defect exist in two different paradigms?
What do you mean?
You're conflating the two. How are they the same?
Because it's not. You're looking at it as culture. They're looking at it as defects, physical defects. You're saying to you,
how is that a genetic? How is me being black a genetic defect?
Because to you, you're saying, oh, all the differences. They just speak a different language. To them, they're seeing the color of their skin is different, their eye shape is different, their forehead length is different. Everything is different to them, and maybe they don't want to them. Those are defects. I don't know.
Yeah, that would probably be like prejudice or racism. That's not.
So what? So what? You're being prejudiced and racist when you say I'm not allowed to marry a lump because she has a lump.
I never said you shouldn't be allowed to marry somebody with a lump. That's not my argument. Never said that. Never once said that.
So, wait a minute. So it's okay for me to introduce into my family genetical defects. It's just not okay for them to come from my cousins. Is that the argument now?
No, what I'm saying though is before you get to legalities, you have to make people socially accept this and buy them in on this. You've not once told me how you can market this.
It's socially accepted already. You can marry your cousin anywhere.
No, hold on. No, what I'm saying is, what would you do as a marketing strategy to get people buying onto banging their uncle's daughter?
We give every marriage $2,000 per child, tax deduction. We pay for the marriages and allow them to be very easy, very accommodating, quick. And in the divorce, we give some protections to the men so they don't feel like they are taking too much of a toll. And that's it. We're gonna increase.
So you're gonna throw money at this. So you're gonna throw money at this. People are gonna buy into dating inbred people for money.
Yes, we want more children, and it's really healthy actually socially for these cousin marriages to happen because the familiar relationships are so tight and they're so long and they're so deep. That they go on for generations, and these are actually really great societal, communities. You see these communities that are really tight, and these kind of traditional communities. They really bring up the spirit of the, neighborhoods. To be honest with you, it's always clean. They're always doing a certain routine. It gets you away from these druggies and these. Loitering habits that other
I don't know how
might
genes
have
do
in the
that.
community.
Yeah, and you could probably talk about culturally,
well,
but genetically, I don't think.
When you're marrying your cousin and you keep it in the community and you keep a tight knit community and you keep growing that community, you can say that you have built that community completely and structured the whole society. And that's all been supported by these cousin marriages, these familial tight relationships.
Okay, so all right, you didn't offer a question. Well, I got a question. In Iraq, the age of consent is 9 for sex. In your religion, mind you, in Islam, should we have 9-year-old inbreds on the dating market produced for the dating market to swipe right on dating sites so we can cream pie them as fleshlights?
So why did you just obfuscate the whole debate? You just been arguing the whole debate.
Time. These are
asking me about 9-year-olds being cream pied. What the fuck are you talking about?
In Iraq, I'll answer this. I'll ask this again. In Iraq, the age of consent is 9 in your religion. These are your standards. Should we have 9-year-old inbred cousins on the dating market produced for the dating market to swipe right on so that way men can cream pie these fleshlights that you would call fleshlights?
Okay, if we look up Iraq, even if it was allowed that 9%, 9 years old was
9 years old, yes,
it was. We will see that it's an extreme minority. It's not the majority. It's not something that's
not much of a minority. I can prove that.
what it is, it's a guideline that, hey, unless, and by the way, hey, I'm not saying that Iraq
Is this
represents Islam in any way.
guideline socially accepted?
Can I finish the argument?
Go ahead.
They're not representatives of Islam in any way, but if they are to make the guideline at 9, I would assume not every human being in that society is doing that. And now I'm not arguing that this is the case, that it makes it okay. But
hold on.
I'm just saying it's probably an extreme outlier. It's not a major issue in the city. Maybe less than 100 marriages, I bet you would see a year in Iraq with 9-year-olds, and that's the actual statistics in Iran, for example. It's very similar. Iran allows 9-year-olds.
Just prove that right
now. It's negligible.
Holy
it's
monologue,
an outlier.
bro.
It's not even a problem. I would argue abortion is a much bigger issue, where in America, 1 million children are aborted and murdered.
No, that's obfuscating.
No, that's not obfuscating. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about percentages.
Can we get back to the 9-year-old cousins? Can we get back to the 9-year-old cousins? Because
what does this have to do with our debate about the cousins?
The debate is about familial relationships. What are you talking about? And you're saying, what is it?
Why are you bringing up 9-year-olds? Into the equation.
So here's the thing, though. In Iraq, you're saying it's a minority when really overwhelmingly the general majority passed this law. It's accepted by a majority, and it's okay, and it's socially accepted by a
in America,
majority.
Marte, in America in 2018, New Hampshire, you could marry a 13 and a 12-year-old. Is that okay? Is that something?
Can you at least answer the hypothetical, Manar? Like the chat.
What I'm saying
you're not going to answer the hypothetical.
What I'm saying, did you see it was a big issue in the community? Everyone marrying 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds. It's a non sequitur. Just because the state allows it.
Can we at least deal with this hypothetical?
I'm answering you as clear as possible. Just because
you're going to New Hampshire. Let's talk about your religion in Iraq. Does not mean
everyone is using it. And I don't know what this argument has to do with the whole debate. It shows cases that you're scared.
I'm not saying everybody uses it.
And you failed to represent that genetical mutation is risks are actually sufficient enough to stop cousin marriage, and so now you're obfuscating to just attacking Islam in general. And it's so weak because you never made a Christian argument. So why would you even attack Islam?
No, this is your belief system. This is a fact.
None of your arguments were Christian based, though. Why are you acting like you're a Christian?
It doesn't have to be. Can you at least contend with my hypothetical?
Yeah, well, that's a little bit convenient, right? For you don't have to argue out of Christianity.
Right now, you're running.
You can argue out of, I don't know, some fucking modernity ethics. I don't know what are you arguing out of? Statistics.
Manar, right now in Iraq, the age of consent is 9 years old.
Do you really believe this? Do you really believe cousin marriage is immoral? You really believe this?
Never. You're making arguments I'm not making. Can you at least contend with the hypothetical? In Iraq,
this is such a joke, man. Yeah, keep bringing me the 9-year-old.
Please answer the fucking question.
Bring up the 9-year-old.
Fucking idiot. So the age of consent is 9 years old. This is your religion. Are you going to deny this?
Iraq is not a representative of all of Islam.
9-year-old inbred cousins. Do you think it's okay to cream pie them? Do you think that's okay?
So it's so convenient. He doesn't have to use any Christian arguments, so I can't attack his Christian ethics, but he can come here and attack Islam.
But I'm just not making a Christian argument.
Who the fuck brings cream pie and a 9-year-old in the same sentence?
Oh, that's what you guys do in Iraq. That's what you guys are doing.
Sick fucko.
I didn't say you couldn't attack my Christian ethical system. Nobody ever said that. Only you're saying that. Can you at least contend with the hypothetical? You're in Iraq. It's socially accepted. As a matter of fact, it's passed overwhelmingly. Everybody, in let's say only 3 people practice this.
Is Iraq a representative of Islam? It's a war-torn country. What the fuck are you talking about?
Socially accepted in your culture by the overwhelming majority in that country. We're talking about 9-year-old cousins. Is that okay?
I mean, if there's a necessity behind it, if it's like saving their lives, and they're ready, and they have went through the testing that they need.
So if a 9-year-old went to testing, necessity, you can cream pie a 9-year-old.
If they refuse it, then you can't do anything with them. They can't actually. You're not allowed to do anything. Now, if there's a necessity, I don't know what the life.
So 9-year-olds.
Maybe the life in Iraq is like the life in Gaza. The life expectancy is 25 or 30.
Wait, you
People are
said
dying.
so a 9-year-old can
very
consent,
young.
right?
Just to make sure we're staying on prompt, guys.
Thank you
it's
for
about
showcasing that
cousins,
he obfuscated.
not
the
children
cousins are 9 years
marriages.
old.
It's about
Thank you
cousin
for reminding.
marriages,
Thank
not
you for
child
These are
reminding
marriages.
9-year-old
him.
cousins, though.
Thank you for reminding him.
Yeah, 9-year-old cousins. Do we?
I mean,
do we have cousins that
why are
go
you
through
scared?
8-year-old?
No, but you're
9-year-old?
IFBB pro, man. You're so strong. You're a police officer. Why are you scared? Why are you scared to debate me? Why you got to bring up kids?
How am I scared to debate you when I'm literally on a panel
Come debate
debating
me on
you?
the facts. Present your facts why genetic mutations are so dangerous that I should be legally not allowed to marry a woman with a Down syndrome. Present your argument. Present
Okay,
it.
so you brought up New Hampshire. Let's go there since we don't want to go to Iraq right now. So you said in New Hampshire it's okay to bang your 13-year-old cousin.
He's just gonna.
Do you think that that's okay?
What is happening
This is
right
your
now?
family.
Why are you
Relatives.
qualifying it with a 13-year-old?
Because you just basically admitted that as long as she consents to it, it's fine in Iraq. But let's go back to the United States. We can do that if you're uncomfortable.
Well, what I said was, if there's a necessity, and you're showcasing that the person is ready and they're accepting it,
which means the
then
9-year-old
how can
right?
you claim it's immoral? How can you make a claim it's immoral? Is it immoral? Can you make a claim it's immoral? Go ahead.
It is immoral, yeah.
Why?
The reason why is because a lot of damage can happen if she's like 7, 9 years old, especially Muhammad. I mean, here's the thing.
Even assume that she's ready at 9. That's what they assume. That's why they made it 9.
Wait, no, you just said as long as
she's ready. Guys,
why did they make it 9 then?
1 second, both of you. 1 second. We keep going back to like child marriage.
I'm not the one that brought it up.
I know. The debate
I'm going to defend myself.
Cousin marriage should be legal and socially accepted, right? Not child marriage.
Okay, all right. Speak easy. I'll make this easy. If society says that close family relationships are normal, how do you stop secret abuse, especially with kids, from being hidden as just family love? Wouldn't your view make it easier for bad things to stay hidden?
What?
It's family love. It's just my uncle.
Oh, you're talking about incestuous relationships, or
that's what first cousin marriage is? It's incestuous, yes.
Well, you might have a point according to your modern appeal to morality. Yeah, according to your statistics, maybe there's a risk of an increased incestuous, whatever it is. Well, presented.
That's not what I asked you.
But in biblical ethics and in Islamic ethics and Leviticus law, it's clear as day. There's no forbidding this. There's nothing that showcases that Christian ethics would disagree with this.
What did I ask
and actually, there's a showcasing that this incestuous relationships have stopped because of Adam and the time of Adam, but it doesn't showcase that these cousin marriages have stopped since Prophet Muhammad, one of the final prophets, continued to do this. Therefore, this argument of cousin marriage is incestuous, it's not grounded in Christian or Islamic ethics. Maybe it's grounded in modern appeal to morality, but I don't know why would we even argue that. Remember, you're a Christian, remember?
Can you answer the question that can you
I just answered it.
No, you didn't answer the question. I'll ask it again. If society says that close family relationships are normal, how do you stop secret abuse, especially with kids, from being hidden as just family love? Wouldn't your view make it easier for bad things to stay hidden? That didn't answer that question. Answer the
what the
question,
fuck?
please.
So because close family is a strong relationship and it's an important thing to build and it builds a strong society, you're saying some outliers could be that some children are having familial love and you're acting like I advocate for it and I'm supporting hiding it. What is this? How many straw men in one? What are you saying?
I'm thinking
I advocate for these familial hidden relationships between brothers and sisters.
No, my question is about harm principle and abuse.
Aren't you the one? Isn't modernity the one that appeals to having a girlfriend and a boyfriend? Isn't that a disgusting depiction of a hidden relationship between strangers?
You're still not answering my question, Minar. Can you answer my question?
But you appeal to modern morality. Modern morality allows you to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. How is that not disgusting as an adulterous habit?
How does that answer my question, Minar?
Keep appealing to modernity. Keep appealing.
Keep appealing. No, this isn't to modernity. This could be in 1500 BC or any other time. Can you answer my fucking question?
I do not advocate for children to be with each other's sisters or or hide these disgusting acts of masturbation or whatever you're arguing.
Is so low. So let me paint an easier picture for you real quick. Let's say that there's an uncle that's sleeping with his niece. Let's say that that's happening. How do you prevent the hidden dangers of people saying that there's abuse happening? Like, let's say there's abuse. How do you prevent that from just happening? Because we have the trope about the creepy uncle touching me as a kid. How do you prevent this if family members can now bang each other?
Well, let me go into Leviticus law and see if
you're not going to answer the question.
Permissible. Well, I need to go and see Leviticus law. What are you appealing to? Are you appealing to Leviticus law? Because maybe in Leviticus law, the cousin is not allowed to marry the nephew.
My question is against harm and abuse towards minors and family. How do you prevent this? Can you answer the question?
How can I prevent the disgusting uncle from...
well, he's not disgusting because you could be an uncle and you're arguing for banging your niece, which is your cousin. Which could be your cousin.
And by the way, in Leviticus law, it's forbidden for the uncle to be with his niece. And in Islamic law.
Okay. Or his nephew. Well, let's say a cousin is older, and there's a younger cousin. How do you prevent abuse from happening that's hidden under the guise of it's just love from family and it's hidden abuse? How do you prevent this?
So how do I prevent this?
What in your world
schizophrenic? Are you having a schizophrenic episode? Are you having a schizophrenic, Marte? Where's this familial love happening? What are you talking about? What am I trying to stop right now? Marte, what am I trying to stop right now? I don't understand.
I'll ask you another question.
Okay. Ask me again, but make the point on why you're asking me this.
Wait, I think I can bridge a gap here. What's happening? Because Marte's asking about a niece and an uncle, but I think Manar is saying I don't advocate.
And that's fine. Let's say if it's an older cousin and a younger cousin, how do you prevent abuse from that situation from happening? Under the guise it's just family love.
Well, in Islam and in Christian ethics, we don't allow adultery. We want them to be married to one another. We don't advocate for them to be adulterous.
No.
Do you understand what I'm arguing?
I'm not making an argument against adultery or for adultery. I'm saying these two people want to get married. How do you prevent abuse from happening? In the family, how do you stop secret abuse, especially with people that are just turning 18? Like you're just of age. How do you prevent abuse from like an older cousin?
The same way we've always prevented abuses.
Family love, that's all it is.
The same way we've always prevented abuses with familial checkups, keeping a close ties with the family and having a strong relationship with them. Advocating for the family to stay close to them, including her mother, her grandmother, her aunt.
All right, that's the closest answer. Keep an eye. You know what? I'll even accept that. So, Manar, nature pushes people to mix genes with outsiders for stronger, healthier kids. Why go against that by promoting close family inbreeding that weakens gene pools over time?
You argue that it weakens it. Only your evidence that you have is the risk of first cousin marriages. But without, if we were to allow the most egregious effects of genetic diseases, they're only attributable to 7% of these cousin marriages. They are negligent almost, and I'm telling you to the maximum, almost negligent. And the 7%, you're able to reduce them further with extra research. So did I not answer your question correctly?
So if you are breeding outside of your family, do you think that would make mostly stronger genes or weaker genes outside of your family?
Not necessarily. You don't know if he's a carrier of a certain gene. The only reason for cousin marriage.
What do you think at the top of your head? Do you believe that there's a higher indication of stronger genes outside of your family, or keeping it within your family making stronger genes? Which one's going to promote stronger genes?
According to modern data and science, it shows that anything past first cousin, second, third, fourth cousin negligible. The risk of it associated with the genetic mutation is negligible. So second, third, and fourth cousin marriages totally as normal as strangers
what's
marrying.
negligible to you?
First cousin, there could be an increased risk because they're a little bit closer to each other, and so if they are carrying these genes, there could be a higher risk.
Okay, let's say it's negligible and it's just 2%. Do you think that multiplies over time, keeping it in the family?
No,
Let's
not
say
necessarily.
we never go outside the family.
No, not
Does
necessarily.
that double and triple over time?
Well, like, is that a bad thing? Like, is it bad that everyone has the same facial structure as the grandfather, as me? Like, is that a bad thing? I'm mugging shit out of you right now. I mean, is that a bad trait for my?
Does this multiply?
I hope my lineage has my jawline for the rest of history.
You're still not answering. You're like a question avoiding machine right now. Can you answer my fucking question? So, if you keep it in the family, does this multiply it over time?
If I keep it in the family,
does it increase or subtract over time?
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
It increases over time. Matter of fact, there's multipliers that happen when you keep it in the family, meaning that if you go outside of the family, you decrease this and you eliminate recessive genes that go outside the family. Because like I said in my opening statement, if you have a bad gene and then you meet somebody without a bad gene, you decrease the risk of this. But the increase of somebody with the same bad gene, like the CFT gene that we came up with, it increases over the time, and the chances of this happening for you to not outbreed this bad gene increase as well too. That's
but if the argument is about risk, even when you're marrying strangers, there's a risk for your genetic offspring to have a genetic mutation.
Is the risk mitigated when you go outside your family or increased?
It's not mitigated at all. It's never mitigated. You can never mitigate the risk.
Wait, hold on. Did I hear that correctly? It's not mitigated when you go outside your gene pool?
You don't. I mean, not second, third, and fourth cousins. You don't actually have any.
You notice how you're moving further outside of your family and proving my whole point? You're going further outside.
I thought your whole argument is against cousin marriage. I didn't know it was only against first cousin marriage. You see how you don't have an argument except against first cousin marriage?
I do have an argument.
You see how you actually have no marriage. Well, I didn't step out. I'm appealing to third and fourth and second cousin marriages. I mean, maybe you have a point when it comes to the first cousin marriages.
Well, you know what you have to do when you build the first to second and third kid. You're going further from your gene pool to do this. You're literally proving my whole argument correct. The closer
your argument is cousin marriage is incestuous. That's your argument.
The more further you get outside your gene pool, the healthier family gets. The closer you get into this, you're actually increasing risk. Is that correct?
Not necessarily, because all these risks associated with consanguineous pregnancies or marriages are mitigatable with the correct screening, genetic screening, and genetic counseling.
Do you think there's an increase? Mitigatable. Is there an increased need for screening the further you go outside your family, or a more of an increased screening with the more you keep it in your family? The closer gene pool you have.
The national average is not 0. The national average is like 3%.
No, that's actually with incestuous relationships is 3%, and actually below that when you go outside your family, that's incorrect.
It's 2 to 4%. It's literally 2 to 4%. Look at the national average, and then the incestuous relationship go to 4, 6, or 7.
Let me pull up this data because obviously you have to see it to believe it. This is insane. It's 4% when you keep it in the family, but it decreases below that.
It's negligent. It's only in first cousin marriage. Second and third and fourth cousin marriage is negligible. His whole argument is against
cousin marriage.
His whole argument is against first cousin marriage.
So first cousin marriage, higher risk, right?
It's not about that. I'm just saying if your argument is about
higher risk
genetic
first cousin marriage, right?
If your argument is the genetic mutations associated and risks associated with cousin marriage, that's only associated with first cousin marriage, the numbers that you're talking about. They're not talking to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth cousin marriages. So are those immoral? Are those legal and acceptable? Do you concede that at least? Do you concede second cousin marriage is acceptable?
Remember how you never answered the question about how we get to legality?
Can you concede? Would you concede that? Would you concede that so we can move on? Would you concede?
You never answered the question that got to that. So in order for you to have something legally passed, it has to be socially accepted for the most part. And it has to be
I thought you just agreed with me.
So people can buy on this.
With me, it's all first cousin marriage.
Also, you never answered my question about how people can buy onto this. All you did was throw money at this and you'll fix it.
No, I didn't say throw money. I say technological advancements in medicine.
You're gonna look like a twig, bro. Like you need to eat more pork.
Look, listen to my argument. In general, in all of human history, all of humanity was dying early. We're getting diseases very early. And technological advancement helped a lot. All of medicine benefited, all of it together, with the inclusion of cousin marriages and non-cousin marriages, stranger marriages as well. So yes, I am appealing sometimes to the technological advancements and how they can actually, support the human race. What's wrong with that? Yes, cousin marriage is negligible. According to the medical technological advancement that we have, it's negligible, second, third, and fourth cousin, and it's only risk associated. The highest is in the first cousin marriage, and those are also negligible if you do the proper procedures of mitigation, which is genetic counseling and screening.
So remember when I asked this, because this is,
and then you go, and as a first cousin marriage, your offspring, their risk of them becoming genetically mutated with sickle cell anemia goes back to the national average the moment you do genetic counseling and screening. So what's wrong with me
that
saying...
doesn't even make any sense, and I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. The fact that you need screening for something and extra precautions from something we can avoid by keeping it out of the family just tells you everything you need to do. Matter of fact, tell you what, if I tell people abstinence is good and you'll never have to get tested, never have to get screening if you don't F around and find out, but then what your argument is making is saying, hey, as long as we sleep around, as long as we're getting testing, it's fine. That's literally your argument right now, saying, you know what, as long as we get tested, it's fine, but the increase happens. You've never debunked this. You never said it doesn't increase in the family. What you've said is it's negligible. Negligible can mean anything, and that doesn't tell anybody or the audience anything about what you're talking about. Because what happens, and let me get the facts straight. Let me get 10 more seconds real quick. Because if you're sleeping with cousins, the chances go up. Let's say it is negligible, like I said in my opening statement, 2 to 3%. Well, guess what? It's 6%. Then it's 15%. Then it's 20%, and it goes up.
Now that my opponent conceded, that the only problem he can see with genetic mutations is first cousin marriage, and I got him to this point.
No.
Now I'm going to also argue why first cousin marriage is actually still more. Yeah, you concede. You're right. Your whole argument is first cousin marriage right now. It's nothing else.
No,
you're not arguing against.
If you go to second cousin marriage, it actually goes up. You still have multipliers that happen. You're not weeding out recessive genes.
Yeah, but it's negligible.
Second cousin.
But it's negligible. It's equal to the national average. It's not even higher than the national average.
Remember when I asked you if it goes up or down? You couldn't answer that, and you couldn't contend with the question. It actually goes down the further you go outside of your gene pool. You're having stronger genes. And then I asked you this: does it weaken or get stronger? You still couldn't even answer this. Actually, let me give you the answer. Your gene pool gets stronger when you start introducing new, fresh genes into the gene pool, and you start weeding out old recessive genes that no longer are functional. That's how you clean this out. You know the recycle bin on your computer, you hit refresh. The only way you can refresh this is to have
where in the Bible is this verse? Where in the Bible is this verse that you brought it up? Have you appealed to the Bible once, this argument?
I don't have to.
It's been an hour and a half I've been debating you. I've been debating you for an hour and a half. Did you appeal to a singular Christian ethical argument?
I don't have to destroy your dumbass argument.
So don't act like you're a Christian ethical Christian ethics person, or you're a Christian that debates
by using logic.
You're a crusader.
To the
you are a progressive. You're a liberal. Look at you. All your arguments are how first cousin marriage creates genetic mutations that are noticeable. Even though you recognize the technological advancements, I guess your argument is,
tell me how that's
without these technological advancements, the human race would be destroyed because all these cousin marriages. That's all you have. You have nothing. And sure, I mean,
you just made a claim.
Without these technological advancements, sure, we would be 30 years old.
So, Minar, you just made a claim.
Lifespan, I guess.
Do conservatives appeal to science and nature in reality?
But that's not their whole argument. Their argument does not disagree with the Bible. They don't disagree with the Bible and then act like they're Christians. They don't go and say that the prophets of God are immoral, and then they say they're Christians. They don't do that.
Back this shit up real quick that you just fucking said. Do conservatives appeal to science, nature, and reality as well too?
So what's wrong? Yeah, you can a little bit. You
Oh,
can not
shit, so
only
it's
you
not a
cannot
liberal
make
argument.
the whole argument
Crazy,
about
bro.
modern appeal to an appeal to modernity. Your whole argument is an
Take
appeal
the
to
L, bro.
modernity. It's not a Christian argument. So I'm correct. The Christian Bible. You did not ever argue against me that the Christian Bible allows cousin marriage. You just start to belittle your own Bible, which is fucking hilarious. Trying to argue that by omission, you basically forcing that your Bible would actually, I guess, what, lie to us? It wouldn't actually tell us what's forbidden. You know better than the Bible. Okay, so you're here humiliating the Bible, humiliating the prophets of your actual religion.
You did. I never brought up. I never brought up the biblical argument. That was you initially that did that.
Okay, but you disagreed with my Leviticus argument that Leviticus does not actually not forbid cousin marriage.
Because
you disagreed with me.
You said omitting it means allowance, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, you disagree with me. It's crazy. I present you
evidences
from your own Bible.
My best friend, you literally just went to some asinine statement, which is crazy.
And then finally, his best argument, guys, is that first cousin. He agrees in the end. Second and third and fourth cousin are negligible. You don't even see the differences between the national average.
Never said you don't see the differences. Nope.
I only have a subjective problem with first cousin marriage because I believe that first cousin marriage has a small extra chance. Well, yeah, 40-year-old women that have children have a higher chance. Should we stop them from having children? Should we? I'm asking you. Can you answer yes or no? They have a higher risk. It's attributable. No, you're not. He's not going to answer. So I've been answering his questions for an hour.
Equivalent.
I've been answering his questions for an hour. Look how small this guy is. He won't even answer a single one of my questions. That's crazy. I'm going to ask you again. I hope you answer it immediately. I've been answering your questions for an hour. It's your turn. Give me 2 minutes.
There's 5 questions you still haven't answered. What are you talking about?
I've been answering a whole hour. I've been answering your questions. Whole hour you've been grabbing this debate. You can't even answer one question.
No, you haven't answered those questions. Can you tell me how people in society can buy onto this and you can commercialize?
I've been answering your questions for an hour. I've been answering your questions for an hour. Why can't you answer my question?
I can give you 5 other questions you didn't answer.
Can you answer my question though?
So only you want answers from me, but I can get answers from you. That's
I've
crazy.
I've been answering your question for an hour.
Let's get back to the prompt right now.
Yeah, let's try this then. Since you're both saying no one's answering the question, Marte, ask the question. Manar directly answer the question, then ask yours, and then Marte directly answer that.
So in this society, because in order to pass a law, you have to make society accept this and vote for this and make mandates for this to socially accept this. Let's say that we have an app to where it's like Inbreeding Plus. That's literally what it is and what you're arguing for tonight. How are you going to market this besides throwing money at it? Because money was thrown at every community and it was a failure. EBT was a failure. It doesn't help people out. Indians were given, I would say, reparations where the country where Speakeasy lives, and that didn't help them out. They still stay destitute. Throwing money at problems doesn't help. How are you going to market this to people and make it appealing for them?
Yeah, it's already appealing. It's extremely appealing for people to know that they're gonna have close familiar relationships, that the community, that this government is going to disattach with them and allow them to govern themselves in their own patch of land and start building a familial community and start building a legacy and something to look up to for the future for your offspring. Yeah, it would be amazing if we would sell it as, let's start having Amish-like groups and communities where we can go and be self-sufficient on our own lands and our own communities where the government does not associate with us in any way. A lot of people would love this. A lot of religious people would love this, especially the conservatives would jump on the idea of owning a farm and building a community of 11 farms next to each other. And all of them are close families and all of them are tight-knit to one another. My question to you is, if it's
tactic, by the way,
why is it illegal for 40-year-olds to marry, and how does that not showcase that? How is that not showcasing that your argument is a failure? That the government actually allows these high-risk marriages and children reproducing, they make them legal, even though there's a high risk associated with these genetic offsprings. They still allow them to happen. And how does your argument, if we were to believe it and to follow it, does not lean lead us to genetic superiority and supremacy, where only the best genomes are allowed to exist and the rest are not allowed out. They're just funneled out of existence.
So you're going to ask 2 questions and ask me to contend with both.
Answer the second one. Answer the second one.
Well, no, why is both of them? Because I'm that generous and I can answer questions unlike you.
Let's see.
So the first thing you said, how is it not illegal? How is it not legal for 40-year-olds to get married? Not once did I say that. Nowhere else is it illegal for 40-year-olds to get married. That's
but they have the same genetic risk.
That's a bullshit question. Nobody says it's illegal, by the way.
Yeah, but their offspring have the same genetic risk of mutation as cousin marriage.
Okay, Kate, do I interrupt you when you're answering questions? Can I just?
You're not consistent. I'm showcasing you're not consistent.
Oh, this is asinine. But anyways, I'll answer your question. So when you talk about this, we've already proven that the gene pool gets stronger the further you get out of your families and recessive genes and you're close in the gene pool. Right there, that debunks everything you were saying, and you have yet to debunk that or prove me wrong. This whole debate, that's an L for you, bro. Sucks to be you.
Okay, all right, so that would be the end of the hour of open floor, but I always like to ask when I feel like there may be a little bit of iron left to sharpen, just keeping in mind that we still have the 30-minute Q&A after. If you would both like another 30 minutes of open floor.
Would you give me 30 minutes? Would you give me 30 minutes?
I really have an argument this whole debate. That's
know your argument. I need to know your argument about these older women getting married. Why is that acceptable when they have the same risk factors and are almost equal in their risk factors with cousin marriages? That's totally cool for you. But only first cousin marriage is extremely detrimental and should be illegal. Your whole argument right now is it's not socially acceptable. That's it. That's all you're appealing to. This is not a debate tactic for you to appeal to social acceptability. You're just embarrassing yourself. So I'm giving you a chance to save yourself.
So you guys both want another 30 minutes, I guess?
Yeah,
at least 10 minutes.
He's at least
10 minutes.
Let's do it.
Speak easy. You know how you just asked a question and then just went to filibuster? That's
Give me
crazy,
10 minutes
right?
at least.
Speaking, so Menard, can you ask a question and just leave it at that instead of filibustering after that?
Listen to me. According to you, your biggest argument is one: socially, it's very hard to make acceptable for cousins to be married, and you have to make some sort of social acceptance kind of
people aren't going to buy into an inbreeding dating app. That's
reprogramming. Yeah.
You haven't explained.
They don't like cousin.com. Yeah. Nobody will show up. Nobody will sign up to cousin.com. I disagree.
I'm pretty sure you might have a scarce group.
I disagree.
And when you did bring up the Amish,
I
brought up the advantages and the small digits that happen in their communities. That's the recessive gene. That's one of the biggest problems that the Amish community has. So you're actually bringing up communities that have issues in genetic recessive genes that we should weed out.
Look,
the Amish community is actually complicit with this. So when it comes to recessive genes, you just pinpointed one of the communities in my opening statement that has a deficiency that needs to be weeded out, but because they don't go outside the community, they can't weed out this recessive gene. You've never provided a solution for this at all throughout this whole debate,
because I don't ground my morality based on who can provide a recessive gene and who doesn't. That's what you are doing. You are grounding your morality based on the statistical data and the effects of them onto the society. You're saying it's wrong. You're saying it's wrong. This is the whole debate. You're saying it's wrong. That's morals. You're telling us
that's what is.
I'm not grounding.
That's what is.
I'm not grounding. Right, okay, I'm not grounding my morality based on these genetic mutations. You are the one grounding this whole debate based on these genetic mutations.
That are basically developing flippers right now because they don't go outside of this community.
I ground my morality in Leviticus law. Leviticus law allows me to be married to my some sort of disorders. I'm telling you a lot of things because that's your argument. You're the one appealing to genetic mutation. I'm saying that's cool. A lot of things can lead to genetic mutations. That's not a reason to stop it from happening. you can still marry a 40-year. All of us heard that. You can still marry a 40-year-old and still produce some genetic defects, and I would still make it moral for you and acceptable, because the genetic mutations are not my grounding of ethics. My grounding of ethics is Leviticus law. Your grounding of ethics is that mutation. So when that mutation is occurring all throughout your society in different aspects, 40-year-old women, Down syndrome couples, couples with lumps, like we agreed and disagreed. How do you reconcile that these couples are producing these genetic defects in your community? And would your argument lead us to getting rid of these people from the community? That's my question. Because you're the one grounding your ethics and your legality to that genetic compass.
Okay, I'll answer this right now, but I need no interruptions. Can you promise me you're not going to interrupt because I haven't interrupted you this last time? Okay, now listen. This is how you do this. You go further outside of your family. You're going to decrease and mitigate this. You've already conceded that you can mitigate this when you go further outside of your family. So when you're talking about is cousins, you actually don't mitigate this. You actually increase the chances of this happening. We both actually agree on this. You actually took an L on this. So when you bring up Leviticus law and all that shit happened before Mosaic law. Mind you, that's what happened. If we're going to talk about the Bible, let's really talk about it. And then not to mention this, you said
Marte, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But did you switch your mic?
Can you hear me now, or is it louder?
I hear you, but it sounds like you're far away again a little bit.
Okay, how's that sound?
Much better. There you go. Much better.
You actually talked about Leviticus law, Levitical law. It's not Leviticus law. So when you talked about this, you said that when you omit things, it means that it's okay. Is that correct? I just want to go over that one more time.
Oh my God. What does that have to do with me asking you a question that you didn't answer? Did you answer my question? I asked for 10 minutes so you can answer my question.
If you're going, no, this doesn't answer your question.
I'm going to ask you the question one more time. Marty, I'm going to ask you the question one last time. You are grounding your ethics and your whole legal debate based on the genetic mutations and the risks associated with certain couples.
That's part of it.
And the second part is the social acceptance. That's baloney. I'm worried about this right now. This part of you're grounding your whole debate based on the genetic risks associated with certain couples getting married. If it is true, do you also agree that all couples, because that produce genetic an increase in genetic risks, also should not get married and repopulate the earth? Do you agree in that?
I'm not making an absolute claim.
I'm asking you, do you agree with that? If you believe that the genetic risk associated with certain couples getting married, and you argue that first couple, first cousin, maybe you argue second and third, I don't know anymore. Let's say you argue first cousin marriage makes a genetic risk and it's doubling, it actually doubles the genetic risk of associated with sickle cell anemia. So you proved that, and you're saying that's why I believe. And another argument is social acceptance. You're saying that. I'm saying, okay, let's grant that to you, because first cousin marriage increases the possibility and the risk and doubles the risk of sickle cell anemia. We should ban all first cousin marriage. Doesn't it also expand to banning all 40-year-old women marrying, because they also have a doubling in genetic sickle cell anemia and genetic mutation risks on their babies? Doesn't it also entail that we should also ban all Down syndrome couples from having children and getting married, according to your own argument, which is a genetic supremacy argument, that they will increase the risk, the risk associated with the offspring has been increased? Therefore, we should not allow them to repopulate. Right? Isn't that Isn't that the implication of your argument?
This is my argument. So I can kind of make a one fits size all argument for our answer for you. I think that when we have people, and we always tell women this too, you don't want to stave off having kids till you're older, because guess what happens? You increase the risk. What I'm doing is I'm making a mitigation argument. How do you mitigate that? Make sure you don't have kids when you're 40. That's how we prevent this. When I make the same argument about family, make sure that you're not banging your cousin to mitigate these risks. So in order to do this, what are we going to do? Have precautions, so that way you don't need testing. You don't need genetic resources. Mind you, when we talk about health costs and premium costs and all this, you avoid all that shit when you actually go out outside of your family and have kids with people and marry people outside of your family. You actually mitigate the risk when you say, hey, don't wait till you're 40 and do this. You see how that works? I'm actually making an argument to mitigate risk, not saying that we should ban or stop all this. I'm saying that we should say that, no, it should be outlawed outright. So it sounds like I'm making doublespeak right now, but I'm making a mitigation argument and saying you shouldn't wait till you're 40 to have kids. You shouldn't wait till you're 50 to have kids. You shouldn't say, hey, there's nobody else to bang but my cousin. That's bad. We have movies like The Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn. I know these are exaggerated scenarios. You probably have never seen these movies, but they're villages that stuck together. And I'm pretty sure that these were tight-knit communities. But guess what? These recessive genes were so pronounced that this guy had like a lump on his face and all this. There's no way that they could weed this out. But guess what? I have a solution for them. Bang people outside of your family, and then guess what? You start weeding out these recessive genes. I have a solution for 40-year-olds. Don't wait till you're 40 to have kids, and then you reduce the chances of you having risks that happen. There's my solution. There's your answer to both hypotheses that you brought up.
Menard, you're muted.
No, he sounds great right now. Speak easy. Let him go.
Oh,
let him cook.
My bad.
No,
Hey,
you were cooking.
No, thank you so much.
Cooking, bro. Now you're not cooking anymore, bro.
You're so privileged, Marte. Look at you, because you're handsome and you're strong and you're big and girls want to marry you. You're saying, I say don't wait. You should get married as soon as possible. Not everyone has the capability of marrying as soon as possible. Not everyone is able to marry a virgin. Not everyone is able to marry an 18-year-old spawning out of her mom's basement.
Or 18-year-old.
Everyone is like you. The privilege that you have is unbelievable. This idea that you're prescribing upon us according to modern appeal, an appeal to modernity, which you still haven't answered. What do we do if I have Down syndrome? Can I actually repopulate your community? Am I allowed to in your community? I have Down syndrome. Should I have kids?
How do you prevent spreading the Down syndrome gene to other people?
According to Islam, you still are allowed to have a wife. You're still allowed to marry. As long as you can take care of your children. Can you tell me if your ethical standpoint?
How do you prevent it?
Should I marry as a Down syndrome? If you were owning the world, should I marry? Should I marry a normal girl?
So, do you want Down syndrome to be?
She's a stranger.
You can marry a Down syndrome person if you know that, if you're accepting the risk and saying, you know what, this gene may pop up. There's a higher risk of chance of Down syndrome in my family. I'll do that. But you have to accept those.
Really?
You're going.
Why can't I do this with my first cousin? Yeah. Why can I do that with my first cousin?
You're accepting risk too. That's not being mitigated. You're actually increasing the risk.
So the only argument. Yeah, so your only argument is an argument out of genetic risks, which is an appeal to modern statistics. That's all you have. You have literally nothing else.
This isn't just modern statistics. I think back in
it's Christian grounded
an era of Australopithecus afarensis, and even in like different eras when we were further, I would say even appealing to before times when like we had Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, we actually foraged and went outside of the continent and journeyed to actually create lineages with other cultures to actually weed out these recessive genes. That's been happening since the dawn of time. We've done this. So if you're talking about this, in order to weed out bad genes, we need to introduce new genes.
Okay, here's the bottom line, guys. I'm going to get into the red pill. If we were to agree with Marte, then all the girls that are asking for 6'4" guys are actually justified. Every one of you short, disgusting looking atheist progressives, when the girls say, ew, you're not my type, they are justified. They are right. And according to Marte, they are actually correct. This builds the strongest societies. And this is actually the goal that society should maintain. We should only repopulate and recuperate with these people that we deem to be superior and we want their genetic lineage. We should never do it as an obligation to strengthen our society because the society with bigger numbers are stronger. We should never do it as a duty for us and start early and marry the first person in our family because we are close and we can actually start, helping each other and the families getting close to each other. No. Instead, it's best for you go to random strangers. She could have been fucking random people. She could have STDs. She could have whatever she wants. As long as she's not your first cousin, because I don't like that your first cousin is associated with an increase of genetic risk, then you are allowed to marry her, and hopefully she's a blondie, nice, thick boobs, big girl, so she can have, remember guys, because your offspring. Other than that, really, we shouldn't marry. That's according to Marte, if we were actually to believe his arguments. I mean, this is ridiculous.
So your argument is saying that there's more diseases outside of family? That's a
no. Your argument, if the genetic offspring is not to your liking, then don't marry.
Hold on. You just made this other claim too. You said there's increased diseases when we go outside of family. There's no diseases that exist in family that we can produce and circulate within our own selves.
Like you're talking about STDs? No, your family would not be STDs. They would not be in clubs, fucking random people. They wouldn't be appealing to modern familial cultures where I'm allowed to have a boyfriend. Like, honestly, you have never made a Christian argument once. What is your argument?
I don't have to make a Christian argument to destroyers.
If I say the highest genetic offspring chances for you to have the best offspring is to have a boyfriend in high school. What is your fucking argument against having a boyfriend in high school? I'm serious.
Well, that would be your argument against. That would be like an ageist argument. That wouldn't be like a familial argument. That's a whole. You're making arguments I'm not making, bro. You realize that, right?
I'm asking you if it was true that according to the statistics of modernity, if a girl has a child with her fucking first high school love, the chances that child being perfect and zero risk of any genetic mutation is 100%. So why now? What is your argument against these girls having random boyfriends in high schools? I'm serious. I mean, if you're just gonna appeal to statistics, I'm serious.
So what does dating in high school have to do with dating family?
I'm showing you that your statistics can work against your Christian ethical structure. Your actual statistics can show you that your daughter is better off being fucked by randos instead of being married. That's what the statistics are going to show.
So
that's what they can do.
Do you think people just go around marrying randos that they don't know?
No, I'm asking you, when the statistics show that, what do you got? You have nothing else. Then you're going to appeal to Christianity?
People don't marry randos. Statistically, people don't marry randos. That doesn't exist in society. People are actually
That's what you're
marriage. What are you
marrying a stranger. You're arguing to marry a stranger better than your first cousin. That's your whole argument.
No, not one time did I say a stranger. Do you think people marry strangers regularly? Do you think that's normal?
Like outside the family, like somebody outside, like somebody you don't know their family, you're brand new to you, you're as far away as family as possible. That's the whole argument.
So who marries? So where's this populace in America where people are just marrying strangers that they don't know?
Yeah, I know he did accept cousin marriage. I remember.
No, I'm not accepting cousin marriage. Where's this populace of people marrying strangers that they don't know? Where does this where's that even culturally accepted?
Why is your divorce rate so high? Because you stopped getting close to your cousins and your people that are close to you, and you're marrying these random people that don't agree with you culturally. They don't align you with you religiously or traditionally. Like, why are you surprised that your divorce rates are higher than it is in for example, Islamic republics?
I don't even know what the fuck you just try to make right now. That's nonsensical. Can we get back to this whole prompt right now? Because right now you're just going to like people marrying strangers. I don't want to go on that topic because that doesn't exist in modern culture. You're making arguments. I'm not making.
It's better for you to marry somebody outside of your family as far away from you as possible. That's a stranger. That's somebody you never met before in your life. You just met him recently. You just found out about him recently.
There are dating sites. Do you think those people are going to stay strangers if they meet on the dating site?
That's still a stranger. If you only met their father once or twice, that's a stranger. If you only met his aunt once, that's a stranger to you. You don't know his aunt. You don't know anybody about his family.
Manar, you can be married for a whole year and still not really know the person you're with. But that doesn't mean they're a stranger.
Yeah, and I'm arguing that's why your divorce rates are so high, because you guys stopped marrying your cousins.
So this is the definition of stranger, Manar. The definition of stranger is a person whom one does not know or with whom one is not familiar with. Who marries people?
Yeah, you're not familiar with the family. A lot of people marry. They don't know the family. They barely met the grandfather. They barely met the grandmother once.
Matter of fact, we're off topic, and you're getting destroyed off topic. Let's get back to the topic.
Well, I'm saying to you, isn't it better to have somebody that you know their family closely and marry them, and it's
that would make them not a stranger, right? That would make them not a stranger, right?
The prophets have done, rather than marrying some other dude from America. You just showed up in America. Like, I'm serious. Here's my question. Let's say you just came to America. You'll have your cousin next to you. But no, I'm serious. No. But this happens all the time. I just came to America. I only have my cousin here. She's close to me.
Knowing the person.
Should I marry a random white girl? Or should I marry my cousin who's right next to me, close to me, that I grew up with her? What do you think?
You're right now. You're making a false dichotomy, a false dialectic. Like it's only two choices.
Answer my question. Answer my question. Answer my question. What should I do? Should I marry my cousin who I grew up with, and I've learned, and I know her mom, and I know her brothers?
In relation to the prom,
or should I marry this brand new white girl I met in high school?
In relation to the topic, if we're going to stay on topic, because Speakeasy is going to guide us back to the topic, in order to mitigate risk, I would marry somebody not your cousin.
Yeah, but if your prescription works, it should work with everyone. So if it's not working for me and it's forcing me to go to random people I don't know and I don't trust and putting me in bad decisions, and we see what happens with these marriages when
you have a bad selection.
You lose all your money.
You know how to vet people. That's what that would mean. That's a different argument.
You divorce your cousin. She's not going to be asking you for all your fucking wealth and trying to fucking destroy your life. She wouldn't be able to. Her aunt would.
So family doesn't ruin your life.
They're not going to try to destroy you. Family, they would actually. They would help.
Hold on.
Together.
Wait, hold on. We have people pop up and say my cousin touched me when I was little. We have people pop up and say my auntie robbed my inheritance. Family never tries to destroy people's lives.
You're making outlier arguments. I'm saying in general,
that's not outlier. This happens often.
Relationship.
You ever hear the saying that blood is thicker than water? That's not necessarily true, right?
What do you mean?
Because what you're saying is that
you would trust your brother more than your.
What you're saying is that family is not destructive. You're saying that it's not going to happen. If you do this, you're going to reduce that from happening. No, I would say that now that doesn't make any sense.
You think it's better to trust some random dude than your brother or your cousin? Wait, you're saying to trust a random white. Let's say you trust a random guy from high school as your best friend. Let's say he's your best friend. It's better to trust him than having a brother. Is that what you're arguing?
No, let's stay on topic because you're against your religion. Homosexuality is banned. So can we give it on topic to marriage?
You see how you only make outliers because when I actually present the argument, you agree with it.
I think that if you go to marriage, I'll even answer your question. If you go to America, my argument is that you're going to mitigate risk and it's going to be more socially accepted if you marry somebody that's not your cousin because you're going to reduce risk. You're not going to have the issue that the Amish people have. You're not going to have what Prince Ferdinand had, and you're never going to have what these families had, these English royalties that ruined their bloodline by having these recessive genes. Matter of fact, their jaws were so corrupted that they couldn't even chew food. Their whole lineage was destroyed because they kept fucking cousins, nieces, and nephews. That's what ends lineages. What you're prescribing is a generational absolutist approach that's going to destroy society and have birth defects out the wazoo. That's what's going to happen. You're actually increasing risk. You've never.
Okay, if that's true, you would also agree dangerous and should be not accepted. Would you actually concede that? Can you just concede that right now? If that's true, if the implication of your argument is true, then the entailment of your argument is
so
true.
A geriatric pregnancy is when a woman turns 35 and above. The risk go up.
Do you also agree that
the risks go up, right? The older you get, right?
Yeah, listen to me. Listen, Raylis, Marte, your whole argument is the genetic increases of these risks. Your whole argument is the genetic increase of this risk, the risk increase of this genetic mutation is worthy enough to stop you and eliminate and make it illegal and socially unacceptable for cousins to marry. That's what your whole argument is. I'm just trying to expand your logic to other situations that also produce high genetical mutation risks.
In order,
why are you refusing to follow along with my question so we can logically? Let's see if your argument logically entails the correct answer.
In order for us to arrive at some sort of semblance of legality, it would have to be accepted by legislation, which means a majority of people would have to push this by law, and they would suggest this. You've never actually sold me on this.
Yeah,
I guarantee the audience has.
If you were right, I'll tell you right now.
You're gonna.
I'll tell you right now. If it's true that you are right, I'll tell you right now. Let me sell it to you. If it's true that you are right, that genetic mutations.
Reading right now.
Yes, if it's true that genetic mutations are increased with first cousin marriages, we need to completely eliminate, because the goal is not for cousin marriages, because we're not racist. The genetic mutations risks. For us to be consistent, then it would follow that we make it completely illegal, because then we would be, according to the Supreme Court, racist, or we would be prejudiced. So to be completely accurate, we would have to remove the legality of all marriages that produce a potential increase in genetic mutations in their offspring.
Oh.
That is the entailment of your argument that you refuse to answer to.
So what you did is you conflated race with genetic defects. Like, you see what you just did right there? You basically said that people that don't want genetic defects are racist. Did I hear that correctly? So if I don't want flippers in my family, I'm racist?
I said that the government might be argued to seem to be racist if they only outlaw first cousin marriage. So what they would argue, we need to outlaw all genetic marriages that could produce an increase in genetic mutations. So they would argue, so we don't look like we're racist. We have to do that.
You just made a claim. So it's racist to not bang your cousin. What's your definition of racism? It makes people racist because they don't want to bang their family? What does
Guys,
race
come on, this is crazy.
What does race have to do with this? So they're racist for
I'm saying the government. I'm saying if we cousin. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. If it's listen to me. If it's true that your argument is accurate, that the reason first cousin marriage is bad because of the genetic mutations, the risk of increased genetic mutations attributable to that offspring of that couple,
increase and multiply. Yes.
Then for modern society to accept your argument and to not look like they are racist and picking and choosing a singular group or a singular religion, they're going to outlaw and have to make an argument to outlaw all marriages that could produce an increase in genetic mutations attributable to the couple. So and the couple married.
I don't want flippers in my family. I'm anti-religion or anti-race.
The society, for them to make that legal, like you are arguing, they would have to, so they don't look like they're racist, make anything that makes you increase your mutation.
So
you refuse to deal with my conception here.
Like
this is crazy.
I'm racist.
I've never seen a dumber debater. I mean, I had to repeat this 5 times for you. This is crazy.
So if there's an inbred family in Tennessee, like the Hills Have Eyes or the Wrong Turn series or something like that, I'm racist because I don't want flippers.
If you would say we're gonna make laws to stop that family, you would be a racist. You would be selectively arguing against that family, and so you don't get these allegations thrown at you. You would have to make a broad legal term, like a broad law that condemns any activity that can produce this negative outcome that you don't want.
Would be against
so you wouldn't say only these people are not allowed to inbreed. You would say the whole society is not allowed to inbreed.
Yes.
You see?
The whole society can inbreed. Yes, I agree.
Exactly. And if it's true that first cousin marriage leads to genetic mutations in the offspring, therefore we should outlaw first cousin marriage, then according to your argument, we should also outlaw any marriage that could lead to the outcome of an increase in genetic mutation.
No.
Or Do you disagree?
What I'm saying is I'm making.
Why do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
Because I'm making a mitigation argument. The same thing with the 40-year-old that you brought up. In order, I would never ban.
Banning is the best mitigation.
So what I would say is, what'd you say? What's the best?
Banning is the best mitigation. If you want to stop increased genetic mutation risks, ban it.
Yeah, I would ban incest and inbreeding. Yeah.
Why don't you ban older women getting married? It's attributable to the same risk of genetic mutation as first cousin marriage.
I would actually promote them having babies at a younger age, because then you would have to change terms like geriatric pregnancy. You would have to say that that's not a geriatric pregnancy.
I already said that's a privileged argument. I already
lingo in medical terms. Actually, you'd have to actually revamp the medical industry when it came to this.
Okay, that's already that's.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That
that's
argument
fine.
that you made. You're making
it's not about
all night, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
To have already, and you're fighting.
That's crazy.
Battle, bro.
That's crazy because you cannot actually make the actual. For some reason, the cousin marriage, you're not okay with that. That's totally bad because you're not okay with incest. But it's okay. I would try to support and help and try to get her married early. Well, not every woman can get married early. What's your argument to her now? She shouldn't marry if she's over 40? I'm serious. Can you answer? Should she marry over 40 and have kids?
Say, okay, great. I know that because that's a biological thing. Just like marrying your cousin increases chances. If we know that there's education and we say, hey, what do we do to prevent defects in 40-year-olds? Don't be 40-year-old by the time you have a kid. What do you do to prevent defects in families from banging each other? Like if a brother wants to bang his sister, what would be wrong with that? How further are you willing to take this? Are you now?
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. You cannot be consistent unless you're against all of them.
Are you okay?
That's what I'm saying.
His sister.
I'm saying you cannot. If you're arguing that that's the reason they are outlawed. I'm saying it's not okay because of Christian ethics. You're saying it's not okay because appeal to modernity. There's an increase of risk of genetic mutation. That's what the difference between.
Are you okay with a brother banging his sister?
But do you understand the difference? I'm not okay with it because of Christian ethics. I appeal to Christian ethics. You're not. I'm not okay with it because it says you're not allowed to be with your sister in Leviticus law, but that's not what you are arguing. You're arguing you're not okay with sisters marrying each other.
We're just going to take
because they can increase the genetic mutation risks. That's what your argument is.
No, I just want to understand your threshold for banging family members. Like so,
my threshold is the Christian ethical and Islamic threshold. The Islamic threshold doesn't allow you to marry your sister. But you don't have that.
You can bang your
all you have. Yeah, but you don't have that. All you have is that appeal to modernity, right? That the statistics of sisters and brothers marrying shows an increase of genetic mutations. That's why.
Your uncle's daughter, right?
So that's why you keep bringing incestuity to this argument because you're appealing to that as the genetic mutation code.
The argument is promoting incest. What are you talking about? Is it okay to bang your uncle's daughter?
I'm asking you, why is it bad? Why is it bad to be with your sister? Why is it bad? Why is it bad? Without appealing to Christian ethics, why? Because the genetic mutation increases. Yeah.
Unless you brought it up, this whole debate. So
even if you never appealed to Christian ethics once. So sorry, excuse me for
genetic defects. With
all right, boys, that is gonna wrap up the back and forth portion of the debate here. Great back and forth. Okay. We're going to enter into the final phase of the debate, the closing statements. Okay, quick reminder to the live chat. We got a Q&A coming up after closing statements, and it's already up, the Q&A in the chat there. So if you got questions for either debater, make sure you drop them in now. And remember, Super Chats, PayPals, Cash Apps, these will take priority. So if they fill the full 30 minutes, the questions may not get to in the live chat. So if there's something you really want guaranteed to be asked, send it through one of those priority options. And with that said, we're going to move into closings. Each debater gets 5 minutes to make their final case. We're going to start with because we started with Manar, so we want to give Marte the last word. So Manar, you're going to start with closing statements. Manar, whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much, Speakeasy, for allowing us this debate, for this challenge to be accepted. And I accepted it as soon as possible because I really wanted to bring forwards my arguments for this. Cousin marriage should be, is, and will always be legal and socially accepted for all of eternity, even in the Star Trek ages. When you go to 30, 55 CC, you're going to treat the orphans exactly how you treat them today, with the respect they deserve. And you're also going to marry your cousin because it's going to build an amazing familial structure, devout and free from the disgusting governance of these progressive, liberal, atheistic governmental structures. Who needs that? How about we get close to each other? We marry in the same family. We get these tight-knit communities out in the suburbs, and we build these self-sufficient farms and communities and societies. There's nothing better than that as a person that is getting older and is ready to have his children. I cannot imagine something better than that, to have a tight-knit family close to one another and everyone around, and everyone knows each other, and it's just going to create an amazing homogeny, in my opinion, and it will really solidify my legacy for the future. At least that's the minimum I could do for my family. Now, moving on, our argument against us, Marte tried to say that we are being bad, we are increasing the detriment to society, we are producing harm to the society, and he produced a modern appeal to statistics to showcase that. He said that, look, when you have a first cousin marriage, and by the way, he conceded the whole second, third, fourth cousin marriage argument completely. He focused on the first cousin marriage, and he kept arguing that the increased risk attributable to these cousins being married should be mitigated and stopped immediately, or the whole society will be completely crumbled and destroyed. My argument is, what's your evidence to that? Where are these societies with these dog-looking like humans that are not able to succeed anymore? Or better yet, the Andrew Wilson argument of these low IQ individuals who cannot even open up a can of soup. What a load of BS. I don't know what movies these people are looking. If you never got educated on something, if you've never seen something before, it's impossible for you to know how it works. You have to actually explore it and learn about it. Of course, if these communities are far away, maybe there's the correlations that they never had this knowledge produced to them. Not that they are married because they were married by their cousin and that's why they're stupid. Maybe they just never had the information presented them accurately, or they had bad teachers. We see this all the time. Just because the student doesn't understand, maybe it's the actual teacher's fault. So it's the way you relay the information, it's the way they follow along with it, and it's the way that they accept it. So there's correlation does not mean causation. Even if there is an association of low IQ, many reputable people in all of history have married their first cousins and have amazing results. So like Darwin, Einstein, everybody, honestly, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So this argument that it's immoral, illegal, or socially unacceptable, it's not grounded in Christian or Islamic ethics. It's not grounded in Leviticus law. It's not found anywhere in the Christian Bible. You can find it in the certain new covenants and certain new canons, but there's no actual depiction of it from the Bible. This is completely created by the Pope's proceedings or some canon proceedings that had nothing to do, completely devout from divine judgment. And finally, guys, his argument is based on, oh my God, the reason incest is bad is because the genetic mutations associated with him. Well, let me ask him a question. If the technological advancements were able to completely eliminate the genetic deficiencies in these sisters and brothers' offsprings, is it now acceptable to have sister and brother offsprings? I really want to know, because he only appealed to modern appeals of statistics and technological advancements in modernity. What if the modern technological advancements could eliminate any genetical defects associated with sisters marrying their brothers? Is it now moral, legal, and socially accepted to be with your sister? I don't know. According to him, he's going to have to agree to that because he only appealed to modern appeals of modernity.
modern appeals to morality, which were guided by the statistical effects and the statistical outcomes that he studied. That's it. What a failed, what an L. Give me the IFBB trophy. Give it to me. I'm the king. I'm the master.
Thank you for that closing statement, Minar. And with that, we're going to hand the mic over to Marte for your closing statement. And Marte, whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, this was crazy. He said that I had to ground this in some Levitical law or anything like that. Matter of fact, I didn't even have to do that. As I've explained in the debate, I could destroy his whole argument, which I've done, and I can actually explain why I've destroyed his whole argument. When I initially asked him the question of like, how could you have anybody else buy onto this? It doesn't really make any sense. So there are hypothetical cringe fests that we could bring into this whole thing, like the Muslim-led campaign to commercialize cousin loving in America. So just imagine an alternate universe where a group of enterprising Muslims launch Cousin Connect Incorporated, to where it's like, you can now say we're building cultures, which is what he's appealing to as well too, by normalizing first cousins hookups in the US, by keeping it in the family. By the way, keeping it in the family like that extreme is wild, by the way. The goal, acclimate those prudish Americans to the joys of cousin banging, inspired by traditions where it's totally halal and common. They fled TikTok ads, sponsor awkward family reunions, and even lobby for tax breaks on intra-family weddings. But oh boy, the commercialization would go hilariously off the rails. Here's some politically incorrect, cringe-inducing examples like Uncle's Delight. Sound pretty good? Remember we were having the sales pitch when I told you, hey, how do we sell this? Well, we're going to have Uncle's Delight dating apps where you can bang your uncle. Sound good? How are you going to sell this? You've never once made this appealing at all. Matter of fact, when you did try to make this appealing, all you did was just throw money at it when I offered examples of everywhere else in society, whether or not it's EBT or reparations, where this fails magnificently. But here's the thing, though. So the Uncle's Delight dating app would be bad. Tired of dating apps exclusively of randos? Well, match with your first cousins only. Swipe right on the hottie who's technically your blood relative. It could be your sister. When we did talk about this threshold, you did say no, not the sister. But the premium feature on this dating app would be DNA test integrate to confirm it's just cousins. Because if you're arguing that, well, we need to mitigate risk, well, if you're going to do this, you might as well make sure it's exclusively family by making sure it's just cousins. Oh, that's super cringy. Try to sell that too. Now, here's the thing, though. The tagline, banging your uncle's daughter. Now, that's what we call keeping the gene pool shallow and the vibes halal, according to you. So Americans would freak. There's no way that you could sell this. Like, I married my cousin at 15 in Yemen. Now you can too, infidels. Lowest legal age in some Muslim spots like Sudan is 10 for girls. So why wait? Cringe level family barbecue where everybody side-eyes each other's? Cousin cruise lines, incestuous vacation packages where we have floating family fun where you could float with your incestuous uncle and bang the shit out of him on a cruise ship. Why Americans should bang their cousins like we should? Like, I could just imagine these packets right now being sold. Cousin counseling bingo. How about that? Or a midnight halal hump, you know, where it's like your auntie could bang her nephew, or we could have a halal dance party, a brochure blurb where it's a sail away with your aunt's sons, because nothing says romance like sharing 30% of your DNA with somebody that you're going to cream pie. Like, to me, this Americans, book this now for early bird special for Minar Report specials. So that way it's basically like a built-in prenup. That's basically what your whole argument was, like, oh, it's a prenup because we're going to get along together, as if cousins and family don't have fallouts all the damn time. So here's the thing, though. What's the difference between a cousin and a spouse, according to you? In America, about $50K in therapy bills, because that's what you're going to have when you keep it in the family like this, because families break up all the time. Just imagine if you're banging your cousin and you're sharing the mushroom tip with them, the breakups are going to increase substantially. We can even have the family pack edition sold in bright green packaging with Quran versions. So protect your progeny while keeping it kosher or halal. My bad. So maybe your marketing pitch could be like, for those steamy nights with your first cousin or your uncle's daughter, it comes with a free, hey, is this haram quiz app? So in Saudi Arabia, there's no legal age, but we're not going to dive into that. So banging your uncle's daughter means holidays are now foreplay sessions. That's what we're going to do. Maybe we could sell your banging your uncle as a foreplay session while she stares my grandma's eyes while you're in bed. Oh, you know what? This is so sexy with my cousin. Hey, you share my sister's lips. How hot does this sound? You getting warmed up now already? Now you're in my bed. Thanks, Cousin Connect, for hooking us up on this Cousin Connect dating app. So it's like the cousin registry at Walmart would be crazy. Intra-family nuptials. I can just see this now. Oh, shit. Hard sell already. So we're saying this. It's like Muslims to America. Time to acclimate. Your Thanksgiving turkey ain't the only thing getting stuffed by relatives. At the table, this is going to be horrendous. So it's like banging your cousin and your uncle together, and then there's like a niece and an auntie sharing. Like, this is just gross. Like, I could just see the Hills Have Eyes happening right now in American Values. You've not once bought this, and this is a horrible argument on your end.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement, Marte. And that concludes the closing statement. Great work from both debaters tonight. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe channel so you don't miss any of the debates we host here on the Swords of Reason. Like I said, we run all kinds of matchups, political debates, cultural, social issues, philosophy, internet beefs, literally anything that a conversation worth clashing over, we can put it in the arena, okay? And don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well, all right? Their links are in the description. Show them some support for stepping into the arena, giving you guys entertainment, and sharpening their arguments tonight.